Braves look for win number 20 tonight here at Bourne Park as the Falmouth Commodores are back in town for the second time in 3 days. Welcome into Before the Bravos, our Braves pregame show. Calvin Cristoforo and Nick Galley joining you high above Bourne Park as always. There was some rain in the forecast tonight, but that has gone by the wayside. No rain now. It should be a clear night for baseball as the Braves try to grab their 9th straight win. Nick, how you doing, buddy? We've been
I'm
off
doing
for a couple of days. We had our long rain delay
Yes.
talk, and then you couldn't make it on the program last night. So it's just you and me, a regular Before the Bravos, and it feels nice.
You know what that means.
A handshake? And
There it is. There it is. We're back. But Calvin, great to be with you as always. I know we have a great time on Before the Bravos. Yesterday, great game again from the Braves. Fantastic ninth inning heroics started by Tanner Schobel after getting no hit for the midsection of that game. So, Braves are hot. They're hot. There's nothing else to say.
You can say that again.
The Braves are hot.
So the Braves last night, they scored 3 runs in the first inning, as they did the first time they played Harwich. So you thought, here we go again. The Braves are going to run away with this one against a really good Mariners team. The Braves scored 3 in the first, 1 in the second. It was 4-0. And then the bats went silent. They were no hit from the 3rd to the 8th inning, while Harwich continued to chip away. They had 4 straight innings where they scored 1 run.
Yep.
The score was 4-4 in the top of the 9th, and all the momentum was in the third base dugout over there at White House Field. But then Harwich, in the 9th inning, because you're looking at the 9th inning, the way I looked at it, standing there on the sideline, I looked at it and said the Braves get 1 run because all they need is 1.
Yep.
Because they have the
Eric
monster
Adler
coming out in the bottom of the 9th, and we'll get to Eric Adler in a second. But instead of just getting 1, they got 6. Harwich, they lost the strike zone, and that led to the bases loaded, and then they tried to get back in, and Tanner Schobel made them pay, and things, snowballed into a 6th-run 9th inning, and the Braves win 10-4 in Harwich to extend their winning streak to 8 games last night. Just a wild, wild win in this winning streak where they win the games. I forgot who says it. I think it might have been you, or might have been, I think it was Connor, the MLB, the baseball operations intern for the Braves, who does a great job down there. Connor tells me, which is exactly right, it's 100% accurate, the Braves win the games they should win, they win the games they're not supposed to win, and they tie the games that they lose.
Yes.
So it's just crazy the way the Braves are playing this season, and last night was just another chapter in the Storybrooke season.
This is incredible. We say it after every game. I know the first thing I say to you when I walk out on the field is, what just happened? Like, most of the time it's, what did we just watch? I mean, it's incredible. I've never seen anything like this really in any sport at this point. I mean, it's getting to be that level of just ridiculousness. You really can't believe it every night. I always get texts in the late innings of the game, like, how did Bourne just win that game? Why did they not lose? And I'm saying, I don't know. I just read about the team. I covered. I don't know.
And there was some great stuff on Twitter this morning when you woke up, like, think the Bourne Braves might have a chance to lose a game. It shows the screenshot of the 4-4 game in the top of the 9th inning. Then you're like, wait 20 minutes. And then it was the 10-4. It's just crazy.
Tanner Schobel obviously cleared the bases with his base hit, scored a couple, and then the errant throw brought in the 3rd. And then at that point, you were saying, all right, Bourne's won this game.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, all right, you know what? We'll score 3 more for you.
Yes.
And that's when, Eric, no chance. Eric Adler with a 6-run lead, forget about it. It's actually comedic. Forget about it.
Eric Adler, you see the stat that came out today on Eric Adler. He is the first pitcher.
Was it the Stroman stat?
Yes, first pitcher since now New York Met Marcus Stroman, who Marcus Stroman, put this into context, pitched 25 innings here in the Cape for the Orleans Firebirds, struck out 32 guys, walked 3, and gave up no runs. And that's why he pitches for the New York Mets. But Eric Adler is the first guy since him to, I think it's not give up a run, have a walks per 9 less than 2.5, and a double-digit K per 9. I believe that's the stat.
I definitely know what you're talking about because
Yes.
I saw the Stroman comparison.
That's the stat. Eric Adler has just been silly. He throws the easiest, cleanest, smoothest 95 miles per hour you're ever going to see, and he got up to 98 last night. And just for laughs, he'll go 98 by you, 97 by you, and then just for laughs, he'll drop in a curveball and you're done.
He makes me so happy that I am in sports media rather than out on the field. If I was ever good enough to be out on this field, I would not want to look up and see Eric Adler looking back at me on the mound because he's been lights out. Video game numbers.
He's been
Truly.
really good, and Dylan Bowers last night
Fantastic.
was also really good. You know, one of the scouting report things we heard from him is sometimes he struggles finding the strike zone, but in his appearances with the Braves, he's been really good. I think the Northern Colorado product is a really good pickup for the back end of this bullpen.
Update for you.
Yep.
He updated me earlier on
Yep.
the Northern Colorado thing.
Yep.
He's actually at Virginia now.
Oh, he transferred to Virginia.
Transferred, announced that today, and he made the official decision last night after the game.
Wow, that.
So congratulations to him.
And Virginia's a big-time program, and they're lucky
Big.
to have Bowers because you look at him, Northern Colorado, and he's really, really good.
Yes.
Really happy for him that he's making the jump.
Oh, yeah.
to play in the
He
ACC.
talked to me. He said, hey, you got to start changing your tweets around a little bit. I said, what do you mean? Am I messing up? Am I doing something right? He goes, well, I'm going to Virginia now. I went,
That's awesome.
well, look at that. I do got to start changing up my tweets a little bit. So Dylan Bowers will now be getting the Virginia baseball tag next to his name whenever he does something good.
A really, really
So-
good season for Dylan Bowers. Can throw the ball very hard, works downhill. He's been really good, a really good addition to this Braves bullpen. Speaking of the Braves bullpen, a guy who is usually out there, a guy we usually see in relief, is making his first start of the season tonight. That is Josh Eknes, who really hasn't gone very long in his appearances, but getting the start tonight could open the door for sort of a bullpen night. We'll see how long Eknes goes, but what do you expect to see from him in his first start of the year?
3 innings is what I expect, but I expected that with Ken Turner, too, and he went 4.
Yep.
So these guys have kind of kept us guessing in terms of how long they can go because we've seen starters go 3 innings. You know, I think Andrew Taylor had a start that went 3 innings. Hunter Omelet had a start that went 3 innings.
That was
I believe.
earlier in the year.
Early in
though,
the year.
yes.
But now with these relievers making the transition to a starting capacity, I would still kind of expect them to go 3 innings, but it looks like Harvey Shapiro is just saying, all right, you can start, you can do it. Or you can go 4 innings, rather. So maybe Eknes will go 4. We've been seeing guys start to get stretched to 5 a little bit now. I don't know if Eknes is going to be one of those guys.
I would doubt it.
I
doubt
doubt,
it.
I don't think so.
Yes.
But keep in mind, if he has it going, this bullpen is stretched a little thin right now. So you have to think about that. This team needs this off day tomorrow desperately, as do all week. I got to ask you this. I'm thinking about it on the off day tomorrow. Should I shave?
No.
No? You don't think?
No.
I was thinking about doing it.
Well, okay.
I don't know. It's a possibility.
I-
But anyway, I mean, yeah, Josh Eknes, he's looked pretty good in the majority of his appearances. So I think he just needs to hammer the zone like he's been doing. He's got wild at some times, at some points. Control has been it was a little bit of an issue last night too. We saw some walks, some guys get on base early in that game. Guys are still working out of jams though, but if you can help it, you don't want to be put in the jam in the first place. So.
Especially with Josh Eknes tonight making his first start of the season, efficiency is going
It's
to
key.
be the key. Make the hitters put the ball in play. Make them put the ball in play because 9 times out of 10 it's an out. Maybe that's a little maybe I'm
That's
stretching.
generous, but you get the gist.
Yes, it's an out unless they're putting it in a gap, putting it in a hole, or hitting over the fence, which is breaking down all the ways you can get a hit.
There you go.
Um,
Hey, that's why we hired him.
You
I mean,
know-
he knows what a hit is.
The bottom line is Josh Eknes needs to make the hitters put the ball in play. Do not give them a free path 90 feet down to first base. You mentioned how this bullpen might be thin tonight, but the Braves have brought in some reinforcements. A couple of new guys, 3, I believe, 2 or 3 new relievers out there in the bullpen trying to help out
2 right now,
this
yeah,
back
so
end.
2. So, yeah, I mean, this is a weird time this season because you got guys coming and going. We haven't seen any of the newer arms yet. We probably will tonight if I had to guess. Everyone's active that is here in Bourne right now.
Yep.
So everyone's active. Everyone's ready to go. It just depends on kind of what their pitching schedule has been like. We don't know a lot about where they're at in their development, in their workload. Again, college coaches play a huge role in that.
Yes.
So tonight's going to be interesting. I don't know who's coming out of the bullpen. Have you heard anything?
I've heard nothing.
I've heard nothing
But
either.
that was going to be my next question. Who do you expect to see first out of the pen tonight?
Ooh, I don't know. I really don't. It's tough because
Well, Eknes' last appearance was in Wareham, right? That was on Saturday night in Wareham.
Yeah.
So who got the start in that game?
That was that was Sansone.
Okay, so I expect Sansone.
Could be Sansone.
I expect because here's the thing with Eknes, if we believe him to throw 3 innings, Sansone is a guy who can get you 5.
Yeah, he
So
can.
that's your 8 right there. If you can get 3 from Eknes, You have all the faith in the world that Michael Sansone can go out there and get you 5.
Listen, I don't know if these new guys are ready yet. I don't know if we're going to see the new guys tonight. We might, but I feel like Harvey Shapiro kind of wants to wait for the off day for like a reset.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then kind of work a rotation. Because right now there's really no set rotation. We don't know who's coming in and out.
Yeah. I'm just assuming Michael Sansone because they were piggybacked, they were together.
Yeah, I would think.
Last time, but the difference was Sansone went 5 innings. Josh Eknes only went an inning and 2/3. So
I believe Xavier Lovett's a guy who's available
I think
too.
Xavier Lovett, I was going to say.
He hasn't been throwing a lot of pitches. He's
No.
been coming in, but I think he had 2 pitches the other night in Wareham.
Now, I was trying to mentally put that together. I would say
Yeah.
Eknes for 3, Sansone, if he's available. If Sansone is the answer tonight, Eknes 3, Sansone 5, Xavier Lovett, that's your 9 right there.
Yeah, or even a 3-4, Lovett 1. Is Adler still available, you think, if this is a close game?
I wouldn't pitch him back-to-back,
Yeah, I
especially
know.
at this point in the season.
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting.
It will be very interesting to see. Speaking of guys coming and going, if you hadn't heard the news, if you've been off the Twitter sphere as of late, Caden Wallace, Braves right fielder, left fielder, he's gone. He is done for the summer. He's been released by the Braves. It's a big, big blow to this Bravos lineup because Caden Wallace was, if not the headliner, definitely in the conversation as one of the most dangerous bats in this Braves lineup.
Well, yeah, this is that time of the year where guys, will, as I said, they're coming and going. It's really all about, listen, Cape Cod baseball, you obviously want to win. It's obviously very important, but their college careers are what they put first. So, it's kind of, we haven't got any real official word as to why he has been released. It's all kind of rumor mill stuff right now. But what we do know is he is not in Bourne anymore, and likely it's just a decision that, got his reps out here and good to go. So.
Do you think the Braves could be in the market for a new outfielder then?
Without a doubt, 100%. And I know there is definitely chatter about that right now, that more offense is going to be brought in here at some point eventually. So there is definitely, from what I'm hearing, plenty of chatter about that, and I would expect someone to be in Bourne in the coming days. But again, it's a tough point in the season to go and find talent right now. A lot of guys are locked in. A lot of guys are saying, you know what, I'm good with summer ball for right now. I got my reps. And you don't want to go to another league like the NECBL and take guys from active rosters. You don't really do stuff like that. So you got to look at the free agent market right now. What's it look like? That's something the baseball ops guys are really focused on. Theo Bartolomeo, MLB scout liaison, my great roommate. I mean, he knows. He's looking around. That kid is up very late at night nowadays, looking around the free agent market as well. So it's something that Harvey Shapiro and his staff, his baseball operations guys, are trying to figure out, and I'm sure they will.
It should be very interesting in the next coming days. Who is coming, who is going, we'll see. But let's talk about the game tonight. The Braves and the Falmouth Commodores going at it for the second time in 3 nights. And this was a game on Monday night that was an absolute thriller. An 8-8 game heading into the top of the 9th inning. Both teams had 8 runs on 14 hits and 2 errors. That was crazy to see up on the scoreboard. It all the writing on the wall for a tie. And then Colby Thomas, a no-doubt walk-off home run with 2 outs and 1 strike in the 9th inning to win this game for the Braves.
Listen, that was a great moment, all right? I hope he doesn't do it again tonight, though. Just win 10-1, for the love of God, okay? This team in the 9th has been making me write 6 different stories, and then I publish the one that ultimately ends up happening, of course. But, hey, I'm hoping Colby Thomas goes 3 for 3 with 3 home runs. I almost said 3 for 3 with 4 home runs.
That's hard to do.
It is very hard.
I've done it.
I'd be surprised. No, you haven't.
I've done it, but it's hard to do.
I'm going to slap you on camera. 3 for 3 with 3 home runs. Go for that. But 10-1 game. I'm looking for a blowout tonight. Nice, easy one. Writings on the wall right out of the gate.
I think a lot of people today didn't even think this game would happen.
No.
I did not think this game would
happen.
happen.
Well, it looks a little weird right now.
There's no rain in the forecast, so we never know what's going to pop up here on Cape Cod. But
being a weatherman is a fake job, I think.
50-50. Great friend of mine, he has a saying that everything in life is 50-50. It's either going to rain or it's not going to rain. 50-50.
That's true.
So I guess we're on the good side of 50% right now. So hopefully the rain holds off for the Braves in Falmouth to go to battle tonight here at Doran Park. Real quick, I'll read through the lineup, and then we'll get some analysis on some of the guys.
I'll pick out a few guys, and we'll go through that.
Absolutely. Christian Knapczyk leading off. He's back at second base tonight after getting the start at short last night. Max Anderson is back at first base tonight. He was DHing last night, moves over to first base tonight. That's a little bit of an interesting move because it's not Zach Gagnos over at third base. Dalton Rushing, he's hitting third. He is catching. Braylon Wimmer, who now has a outfield spot pretty much every single night with the departure of Caden Wallace. He's hitting fourth in left field. Colby Thomas in right field hits fifth. Joe Lampe back in the sixth spot playing center field hits sixth. Tanner Schobel, the shortstop, hits seventh. Zach Agnos DHing, hitting eighth. And the third baseman tonight is Nick Goodwin, who hits ninth.
I'll pick out 3 guys in this lineup
Yep.
I'm looking for. Number 1, Colby Thomas. He's been on a tear right
Red
now.
hot.
Red hot. Really starting to look good, so let's see if he keeps that up. 2, Tanner Schobel. I talked to him before BP, or during BP the other day, before the game, and he said, I'm feeling good. It's just, hard to get consistent out here when you're playing every other day. He's starting to get a little bit more consistency in that lineup. So I'm thinking that's really helping him. And we've seen the offensive production all year for him. Just a matter of staying consistent with it, being in the lineup as a daily player. And we're seeing that. So I think that's going to benefit him greatly. Last guy I'm looking at is Nick Goodwin, rounding up the order here. This is a guy who, we've said it time after time, can have a great night, can be kind of quiet one night. If he can get that consistency, it's all about consistency, especially at this time of the year. You got guys coming and going. You need your guys who have been here all year to be consistent. So I want to see Nick Goodwin start putting together a nice streak, like a 3-game hit streak or something. That would be great. I mean, that's what you want to see from these young guys that have been here all year. And if he can get that going, we're going to see this pitching staff, hopefully be in some blowouts rather than these close games.
What do you think about Zach Agnos getting his third straight start tonight at DH?
I mean, that just shows you his bat is coming around a little bit. We saw the blast here the other night against Falmouth. Same team, same field. Maybe he'll do it again. So we're seeing the reliability showing that his bat needs to stay in this lineup.
All right, real quick before the national anthem, your pick to pop.
Colby Thomas.
I'm going Dalton rushing tonight. I think he gets a home run. National anthem happening right now before Reeves and Daniel have the call here from Doran Park. Enjoy the game, everybody.
Well, the Braves and the Doors get set to square off for the second time in 3 days And if it's as dramatic as it was the last time these two teams faced off, then we are in for a good one here tonight. Reeves Jackson and Daniel Coates back with you from Bourne Park after a day off yesterday being away from home, but the Braves picking up a big win against the Harwich Mariners, Daniel, in which they tacked on 6 runs in the top of the 9th inning en route to their 19th win of the season.
Yeah, they continue to impress me in just the way that they can tack on runs at such a high intensity, and we saw that from Colby Thomas the last time we had a home game, and that also was against the Falmouth Commodores in a 9-8 victory at home. And talk about late night heroics again last night as well as Tuesday night. So it's going to be a very, very fun game here if history repeats itself. But these Falmouth Commodores, you know, they're not going to go down without a fight, and they have proven that every single game that they have come in. They've tacked on a lot of runs. We saw that with 8 runs 2 nights ago and 8 runs the first time we went to Gov Fuller.
Well, Daniel, for the Braves tonight is going to be Josh Eknes, who's making his first start of the season. Josh has allowed 3 runs, but in a small sample size in just 5 1/3 innings on the year. But a guy who can light up the radar gun and someone who we're excited to see get his first start in a Braves uniform.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the first start for Josh Eknes. He showed flashes. He has a good frame, a good fastball, but his family is in the crowd. It will be cool to see him take to Durham Park the first mound. And against a Falmouth Commodores team that is fairly depleted, we're seeing DeFabia at the 8 spot, who actually was in relief for the Commodores out of the bullpen 2 nights ago.
Well, a funny stat on Anthony DeFabia, tonight's DH. He has faced 5 hitters against the Braves this year. He has allowed 5 hits, 5 runs, and has not recorded an out. Maybe he'll have better luck up at the plate against the Braves pitching tonight. But we're excited to see Josh Eknes on the mound. And the Braves defensively tonight line up like this. Left to right is Braylon Wimmer, Joe Lampe, and Colby Thomas. Third to first, Nick Goodwin gets the start at third base tonight. He's been seen at third this year, but never a start. He's been seen as a defensive replacement. So Goodwin over on the left side of the diamond. Over at shortstop for the Braves is Tanner Schobel. At second, Christian Knapczyk. At first is Max Anderson. And the battery combination tonight of Dalton Rushing and Josh Eknes. It'll be Douglas Hodo who leads things off for the 8-13-2 Falmouth Commodores, currently sitting in 4th place in the Western Division. The Braves with a stronghold up at the top of that West, 19-2-3. First pitch from Eknes tonight to the center fielder, and right-handed hitting Hodo is upstairs. And on a night in which we didn't think we'd have a game due to the terrible forecast and predicted thunderstorms, we're happy to have the rain move south of us. And Daniel, we got a great baseball game ahead of us tonight.
Yeah, all the green seems to have moved south, kind of towards the islands off of the Cape, but looks like a perfect night for baseball here, and feels it too. Really cool in the air. The sun still is having trouble coming out, but at least the rain is being kept at bay. But 3-0 here quickly for Eknes. He really needs to just find the strike zone early on. That's something that the Braves have had to improve on as far as pitchers.
Well, right there, Hodo thought he had ball 4, walks about halfway down the first base line, but tonight's home plate umpire in Jim Fonseca had other plans there for Hodo. The lineup for the Commodores looks like this. Douglas Hodo leading off. Casey Harford batting second. Jace Borfin is batting third. Chris Armstrong in the cleanup spot. Then Jonathan French, Anthony Hall, Michael Curiali back in the lineup. Batting 8th is Anthony DeFabia. And batting 9th and rounding out this Commodores order, someone we've seen, is Cody Colden. They'll have Jack Jaziak on the mound. We'll introduce him and talk a little bit more about the South Florida right-hander when the Commodores come to the field in the bottom of the first. Eknes, who's come back in the count, now 3-2. The delivery, swing and a miss, strike 3. Down 3-0, comes back with 3 consecutive strikes and a big strikeout of Hodo, and the first out between the Doors and the Braves tonight.
Attaboy, Josh. That's a good way to start things off. Go up, you go down, I should say 3-0, and then just battle back, going right at Hodo. 3 strikes right in a row. The one that was fouled off was right down the middle as well, and Hodo moving towards the dugout instead of first base like you thought.
And the 2-hole hitter Casey Harford steps in and promptly chomps one foul over to the Braves dugout. Nothing in one the count here to Harford, the shortstop for the Commodores tonight. A breaking ball that drops in and finds the zone. So Josh Eknes, after falling behind in the count, 3-0 to the leadoff hitter Douglas Hodo, has really found the zone here, and ever since on the next three, and the first two here to Harford as that pitch misses outside. As we take a look, obviously we just saw Falmouth a few nights ago going with a bit of a different lineup. As Hodo moves to the top of the order. Now 1-2 swing and a miss, breaking ball in the dirt, rushing, bounces out inside and tosses over to Max Anderson for the second out here.
About as good as a start as you can get for Eknes. The only gripe that he's creating right now is just the pitch count. He's taking some time to get these batters down, especially Hodo at the one spot, but about as flawless a start as you can ask.
So 2 swinging strikeouts for Eknes as he faces Bourne from Arkansas. We got some news here on the Braves front. Speaking of Arkansas, today we learned that Caden Wallace will no longer be a part of the Braves for the remainder of this season, as that one misses high. As Wallace was released by the Braves, obviously Caden choosing, and the organization of Arkansas baseball choosing to focus on the upcoming season, and they obviously loved what they saw from Caden Wallace. He proved that he could definitely be a ball player up here as he projects to go high in the upcoming MLB draft, but also has a bright season ahead of him at Arkansas. We hope 3-0 here to Bourne.
Yeah, and Caden batting just under 300 in a slew of games, about a half season he saw down here on the Cape. Great pitch there by Josh Eknes, but in a recent mock draft that our own Nick Galley sent us, he was projected at the 8th spot for next season. So, I mean, and obviously these mock drafts are really hard to decipher. That one goes foul. But they're really hard to decipher, but it just speaks to how talented and how skilled he is and how important he is to the Razorbacks program. And I think that's another reason why he is departing. He's just trying not to fizzle out down here. He showed scouts what he needed to, and he's going to go back to an impressive Arkansas program.
Just missed high there to Bourne, just like he did to Hodo. Battled back in the count down 3-0, made it 3-2, and the payoff pitch misses high. So a 2-out walk to Jace Bourne. Well, our own Mike Skinnion, scoreboard director here for the Braves. And got a new score bug up in the top left corner. You see on the graphic at home. We hope you enjoy that. New and improved. You got the pitch count. And hopefully a little more readable and user-friendly for those viewing at home. Here's Chris Armstrong. Armstrong was 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs the last time the Commodores came here just 2 days ago. And almost everyone up and down this Commodore lineup, Daniel, had an RBI. The only ones that didn't were Harford, although 3 for 4. Harford with an RBI. I was talking about Jace Bourne, who's over there at first. That one misses high out of the glove of rushing. The only one of the few that didn't, Jace Bourne, did not have an RBI, but was 4 for 5 with 2 runs scored. So Bourne is obviously someone to keep an eye on here in, obviously, this season.
It's not surprising after a 29-hit affair back on Monday night, and that one's taken foul. But it's not surprising, especially as you go down this lineup, not incredibly different for the Commodores as far as the batting order that we saw 2 nights ago. Hodo at the top and Cody Colden at the bottom. So a bit of a changeup, but same faces we're seeing.
Someone we don't see tonight is the Commodores' leading hitter, Braden Taylor, in the lineup today as far as batting average is concerned, as that misses inside there to Chris Armstrong. 2-1 the count. The only Commodore without a hit is the man on deck. That's Jonathan French. He was 0 for 5. As that one misses inside, 3-1. So Eknes with some control issues early on, already up to 20 pitches in the inning.
Yeah, 3-1. You know, you posted 2 outs with no base runners on. Now 2 base runners on. What looked like it was going to be a quick half inning has Josh Eknes dealing with 2 base runners, 1 in scoring position. Just needs to find the strike zone reads. There's really no way around it. It's as simple as that. I think the reason why he caught Hodo and Harford was just because he was all over the place and they didn't know where he was going to be pitching to. But he's looked good so far. Just needs to find the strike zone.
Here's Jonathan French, who who steps to the plate. French was on a tear to begin the season, had 3 consecutive multi-hit games after the first 2 games of the year. But since then has cooled down mightily. Just a 220 clip on the year for French in 41 at-bats and cuts through an Eknes fastball, nothing in 1. 9 hits for French, 2 doubles, no homers. 2 doubles, 2 homers, 6 RBIs. He has walked 6 times, has struck out 19 times in 41 at-bats. Almost half of his plate appearances. As that fastball misses away.
Yeah, French from Clemson coming in 9 for 41. That's a 219 average. He does have 2 homers and 6 RBIs. With Armstrong on first and Chase Bourne at second, this is an opportunity for him to make it 7, but Eknes knotting it up with the count.
1-1 here to French. That's a fastball. Identical spot. And misses outside. Our home plate umpire tonight is Jim Fonseca, as we talked about. First base umpire Mark Furtado. And the third base umpire Ryan Damari. 2-1 the count. Eknes isn't missing by much, Daniel. But just a little outside. 2-1. That looks good, but called high at the plate. And the count is 3-1. So Eknes here, unlike the misses to Armstrong and Bourne, he's around the zone, just missing barely right here. But got to get back in the zone. You cannot afford 3 consecutive walks after striking out the first 2 hitters to bring up the left-handed hitting Anthony Hall. Swing and a miss. Power cut there from French. And the runners will prove to be in motion here on the payoff.
The defense hasn't had to make a play. The only way that these Falmouth Commodores are getting on are via the ball from Eknes, but he has an opportunity to right the ship here with a payoff pitch. 2 outs in the top of the first. Get the Braves their first opportunity at the plate.
Payoff coming. It's a, swing tapper over to second. That is Christian Knapczyk. Flips over to Max Anderson, and Josh Eknes was scary for a minute, but gets the ground ball from French to end the inning. He strikes out the first 2, issues 2 walks, and the Commodores leave 2 on. It's the Commodore 0, and the Braves are coming up. Bottom of the first inning. Braves coming up here to the plate, looking to add on some early runs just as they did a night ago. They scored 3 in the first inning against the Harwich Mariners yesterday. And today, Daniel, they're going up against someone who's been a bit enigmatic on the year in Jack Jasiak. What can we expect from the South Florida right-hander?
Well, you can expect his 4th appearance, and you can expect inconsistency. I think that's what you can most depend on. His first appearance was at Wareham. He let up 3 runs. Then at Brewster, where he went scoreless. He shut out the Brewster Whitecaps after 5 innings, and then just over 3 back in July 15th, he let up 3 runs again. So, if it goes one way and goes the other today, I guess is the day that he should have a shutout, but you never know. I mean, he's an inconsistent pitcher who, like you said, he's enigmatic. You don't know what you're going to get.
Jasiak works solely out of the stretch as Knapczyk sends the first one away. 0-1. He's made all of his appearances via starts this year, 12 2/3, 13 hits, 6 runs, 4 walks, 10 strikeouts. Knapp back in the leadoff spot once again and fouls this one straight back. Braves lineup tonight looks like this. Leading off, playing second, Christian Knapczyk. Batting second over at first, Max Anderson. Batting third and catching, Dalton Rushing. Batting fourth, cleanup hitter in left is Braylon Wimmer. Batting fifth in right field, we know what he did the last time he played here. And against this same team, Colby Thomas. Batting sixth, center, Joe Lampe. Batting seventh at short, Tanner Schobel. Eighth, the DH is Zach Agnos. Batting ninth, and rounding out this Braves order is Nick Goodwin, and he is over at third base. Defensively for the Commodores, left to right, Hall, Hodo, Borfin. Third to first, Colden, Harford, Curiali, Armstrong. Battery combination, Jasiak, French. 1-2 to Knapczyk. Fouls it back, as he so often does.
Knapczyk staying alive is what he does best, and obviously a team-leading average is why he's at the 1. But another reason he's at the 1 is because he knows how to work the count so well. He knows how to fatigue these pitchers and get on with walks, and he did that against Wareham and then the game after back home at Bourne against Falmouth.
Knapczyk skies this one back behind us. Well, Christian Knapczyk, hard to raise your average in this league, Daniel, when you're already hitting above 330. And when Knapczyk coming into the game last night hitting 341, so even above 340. But he was surpassed last night for the league lead in batting average by one Prez Kavanaugh, who we saw with the Harwich Mariners. Just a point higher, though, than Knapczyk as he watches the changeup miss away. Kavanaugh at 352. Knapczyk, after a multi-hit game a night ago, hitting 351. And then number 3 and number 4, Dalton Rushing and Max Anderson. And Anderson, who had another big night yesterday for the Braves. 2-2 to Knapczyk once again. It is just being a pest at the plate, and is what you want out of your leadoff hitter. When you look at double leaders also across this Cape League, number 1, the guy in the batter's box, Christian Knapczyk. And part of that is just because he's so good at slapping the ball the other way. He puts it down that left field line. Anthony Hall out there in left having to shade that line as the opposite field hitter that Knapczyk is, especially with 2 strikes, as he does there. Slaps it to short, to his knees goes Harford. Knapczyk's going to beat the throw to first as it goes behind Armstrong. No advance from Christian Knapczyk, but in this game, Daniel, and on this team, speed continues to kill.
Knapczyk's had a handful of infield singles. His speed is as impressive as his contact at the plate, and he does it again, an infield single to start off the game, and he just took the lead in average in the entire league. So Prez Kavanaugh had it for about a few hours. Knapczyk swipes it away.
He had it for the conclusion of one game, and he lost it at the start of the next one. So not for long, said Christian Knapczyk. Here's Max Anderson, the slider called a strike. Looked like it was missing a little low and away, but nonetheless, it's 0-1 to Anderson, who stood up in disagreement. Middle infield and Harford and Curiali back in the lineup. Hit a grand slam against the Braves the first time we saw him as they check on Christian. Knapczyk second on this team in stolen bases, behind the leader in Joe Lampe.
Max Anderson not far behind the average of Christian Knapczyk at 350. He's batting .318, 1 homer, 7 RBIs.
Anderson skies this one into shallow right. Out goes Curiali. In comes Borfin. Borfin calls him off and makes the catch for out number 1.
that won't help his average. But Anderson has been such an important player coming from Nebraska in the middle half of this season in 2021. And there's a reason why he started at the 7th spot and then quickly moved all the way up to where he stayed at the 2 spot and has been a real catalyst at the top of the lineup.
Well, you look at the first 3 guys in this lineup, even the first 4, but the first 3 in particular. You see why they're all all-stars when they are 3 of the league's 4 leading hitters coming into play today. Number 2, number 3, and number 4 coming into play. Knapczyk, obviously, as you mentioned with that base hit, just surpassed Prez Kavanaugh, who we saw a night ago with Harwich. Knapczyk fakes a move and rushing sends one back where the net protects us, or else that was coming right back to Daniel. Next to me, to the left of myself, here in the broadcast booth, on an overcast night on the field of play where you see on the high home camera, but behind us, Daniel, it's a little clear.
I think the sun's finally trying to creep out from the clouds. It's been overcast almost every time we've been here at Dorn Park, but it's as perfect as a temperature we can be, and there goes Knapczyk.
Knapczyk on the move. French with a one-hopper. Knapczyk's going to beat the wrap. Ball was dropped regardless over there by Harford at short. And a successful stolen base for Christian Knapczyk.
Knapczyk shows his speed again, and actually you usually see him already at third when Dalton Rushing comes up in the 3 spot, so he's making up time here and
making up for lost time.
Making up for lost time, making up for Dalton Rushing's at-bat here, but he's down and behind the count.
Knapczyk, who now just tied Lampy, 5 stolen bases apiece for the 2. He leads and Rushing takes. So great to obviously have players' parents at the ballpark. We got Josh Eknes' mom and dad here at the game, Colby Thomas's family at the game, among a slew of others that we'll mention throughout tonight's broadcast. It is always great to see where these players come from and the families that show up and watch these players and their proud kids of how well they have done to get to this level of baseball and where they expect them to go and beyond. As Rushing watches the slider, 2-2. And Daniel, we talk about it night in and night out on the broadcast, but this magical season really can't be described and really can't be summed up in even just a few words. It's almost indescribable the level of success the Braves are playing at.
Well, when you come away with 9th inning victories 2 nights in a row as if it's some commonplace theme, that's when you know that we have a special team on our hands as he fouls that one off. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I've never seen a team respond to adversity and respond to either a draw or a loss in the way that this team does. They recognize their time to attack, and boy, oh boy, do they string together runs when they need to. And Colby Thomas did that 2 nights ago against his Falmouth Commodores team, and Tanner Schobel with a single RBI that brought in 3 last night against the Mariners, and both came out with those wins, and that's a reason why we're battling for number 20 here tonight.
Well, including this game, the Braves have 13 games left on their schedule. Obviously about 3/4 of the way through the season. And obviously when you look at their magic number just to clinch a playoff berth, the 1 or the 2 seed, at just 6 games at this point in the season is almost unbelievable. Jasiak here with a full count pitch to Rushing. I believe he went around, and he did. Dalton Rushing called out on strikes. Believe it was a good call over there by Ryan Damari. And Rushing taken care of for out number 2.
Braylon Wimmer with 2 outs and going to come in and try and add on to his RBI total. He has Christian Knapczyk, who's speedy at shortstop, who stole that base, and with 2 outs against this Falmouth pitcher that, other than Christian Knapczyk's infield single, has been dealing with the 2 and 3 spot batters in the Braves fairly easily.
Wimmer takes a first pitch strike. Good slider there from Jasiak. Braylon Wimmer, who is second on this team in runs batted in with 15. The leader on this team was the one that just struck out. That's Dalton Rushing. Obviously, Caden Wallace with 14 is now departed. So Braylon Wimmer is going to have a much bigger role, bigger than he already even had. Obviously, will settle into that cleanup spot for the foreseeable future, maybe for the rest of the season for the Braves. But, Daniel, this is obviously a season hard to believe that's coming down the stretch. You have 13 games left. That, like I said, that includes tonight's game. Bottom of the first here. Scoreless. Braves have a hit. That's by Knapczyk. Only hit of the game as Wimmer whiffs through a breaking ball. Count goes to 0-2.
Yeah, we're looking towards the finish line of this season, which is unbelievable. I feel like we were just here against Hyannis in that opening game here at Dorn Park in the opening game for the season, and Braylon Wimmer hit a shot in that one after Dalton rushing, and we really thought that the summer would be a bit longer, but it has flown by, and so too have the 19 wins have flown by as well, and the fact that we're battling for number 20 in just over a month of play is special, to say the least.
Well, obviously, you look at the magic number being 6 for a playoff spot. Well, when you look at the magic number for the Braves to clinch the 1 seed and possibly even home field advantage throughout the playoffs, only team rivaling that is Brewster as Wimmer swings and misses. Oh, foul tipped it, excuse me. Hard to tell from the angle we had up here in the booth, but Wimmer did get a piece of that and thus stays alive 0-2. But when you look at the Braves' magic number for the 1 seed, it's hard to believe that it's just 2 games higher than a playoff berth, obviously. Brewster with 15 wins, 7 losses out in the Eastern Division. Maybe the only team they'll be battling for home field advantage throughout the entire playoffs if those 2 teams were to meet in the championship round. 0-2. Fastball, that's inside.
Good eye by Braylon Wimmer. I think French is kicking himself because I think he had an opportunity to squeeze that ball for strike 3 and the one before that. But Braylon Wimmer is battling Colby Thomas on deck and Christian Knapczyk still taking the lead at second. No one covering, though. And like you said, get a win again against a West Division team, the Falmouth Commodores, would be really significant.
Wimmer swings and misses through the breaking ball, and a nice job there by Jasiak. After the leadoff single, he strikes out the final 2 hitters in Rushing and Wimmer as we head to the second scoreless from Dorn Park. Six, 7, and 8, and 2 Anthonys due up in the Falmouth half of the second. And a first pitch misses upstairs from Ekdus, Anthony Hall, Michael Curiali, and then someone who you might recognize because of the success the Braves have had off of him on the mound, Anthony DeFabio, who's the DH for the Braves. I'll tell you a little bit more about DeFabio when he is due up third this inning. But first here, it's Anthony Hall, left fielder for Falmouth. And Ekdus has missed with the first 3. So Josh Ekdus has struggled to find his command here today. 2 walks and a host of pitches for Ekdus, and 4 straight puts Hall aboard to begin the second.
Hall was 1 for 4 2 nights ago. And again, Ekdus continues to struggle to find the strike zone, but he got out of the last half inning with a 0 score, but his pitch count is going up there. You know, you usually see him around 3, maybe 4 tonight, but have to imagine we're going to see a handful of pitchers coming out of the bullpen tonight. Eknes, I imagine, or I predict, would go around 3, maybe creep into that 4th inning, but we've only seen him out of relief, so interesting to see how the bullpen has created a situation where he will come in as for the start tonight.
Eknes just cannot get that fastball down in the zone. Surprised Rushing hasn't been out for a visit yet. Count is 2-0. Michael Curiali, someone who has just fallen off of the charts when it's come to some of the league leaders in average. Someone who was one of the league's hottest hitters is now Rushing. Will pay a visit here on a 3-0. But back to Curiali. Daniel, this is one of the league's leading hitters through the first quarter of this season. A guy that going into July 2nd was hitting .282, and just 2 days before that was hitting .313. Curiali started the year on a 3-game hitting streak, 2 of those multi-hit games, including a 3-for-3, 2-double, 2 RBI game against Wareham before he ended up hitting a grand slam the next game against Bourne. But as of late, has been nowhere to be found. 4 straight there to Curiali, and all of a sudden, back-to-back 4-pitch walks will send Ed Marco for a mound visit. We did not get word on who potentially could be in relief for the Braves today, although we do have a few guys that we would suspect. Maybe Frank Doling, the Ryder product, who is expected to make his first outing, if not today, then potentially Friday.
Yeah, and even Garcia, who will be the new pitcher, or we should say the new catcher coming in. And he struggles at the plate a little bit, but he is, as I have heard from our Nick Galley and Theo, our MLB liaison, that he is one of the best defensive catchers that you're going to see in the nation. It's exciting for him to come in from Grambling.
Yeah, transfer to Grambling State next year, and going to be very exciting to see. So Eddie Marco, Dalton Rushing, talking over with Eknes. He'll have DeFabia, who, when we talked to the Falmouth broadcast team, has not seen a live at-bat in over a year. And all of a sudden, you are submerged among the league's best pitchers. They're throwing you in the pool without any swimming lessons and saying, all right, keep up. So we'll see what DeFabia can do.
And he's showing bunt already.
How about that?
Here come the corners.
Gets it down. That's a great bunt. Eknes only has 1 play, and it is to first. So DeFabia on the first pitch does an excellent job, and now the Commodores have 2 runners in scoring position with 1 down.
How about that? DeFabia knew the entire time he was going to come up and lay that bunt down. He improves 2 Falmouth Commodores, and just like that, Eknes has to deal with 2 men in scoring position. Cody Colden now up, and then the top of the order, Hodo on deck. Not the situation you want to put yourself in the second inning.
Here's Colden, 9-hole hitter. Takes a fastball that Rushing tries to frame but misses away. One and 0 is the count. Fastball, there you go, Josh. Called strikeout or half, 1-1. So Eknes, after that mound visit from Eddie Marco, talking over some mechanical adjustments, I assume. Maybe just a little bit of a breather, too. Big crowd here today at Bourne Park on a Wednesday night. Braves have an off day tomorrow before they get their first Friday night home game in the Friday Reds against Orleans. Breaking ball spins high, 2-1. Runner at third is Hall, runner at second, Curiali. Braves would surrender a run for an out as the infield plays at their normal depth. Behind the bag is Anderson, and behind the bag at third, is Goodwin. That is fouled away from Colden, and now Eknes a strike away from potentially dealing with these runners with 2 down.
Colden is 8 for 66. He's struggled, and that's the reason why you're seeing him at the 9 spot. He has a homer, and he has 8 RBIs, and he's primed for a situation to do so. He's 2-2 with his back against the wall, though, against Eknes, who seems to be dialing in that strike zone a bit more.
Breaking ball rings up. Cody Colden inside half. Beautiful pitch from Eknes, and it buckled the knees of Colden.
How about that? I would usually say, if you're throwing the breaking ball, he missed earlier on with that, and he couldn't find it with the fastball. I would usually say, why don't you find the fastball first with the zone? But he decides to go ahead with it and completely fools Cold, and he continues to struggle at the plate.
Here's Hodo, who steps up to the plate in the leadoff spot. He was in the 8-hole for this Falmouth team the last time they came to town on Monday. Hodo was 2 for 5. Did not have an RBI, but did have a run scored. This is a Falmouth team in a game that was a shootout, 9-8. And as you mentioned, 29 combined hits. That one misses away. Good stop from Rushing. Obviously, the new catcher for the Braves team, not in the lineup tonight, but it's going to be refreshing for Dalton Rushing to not be able to, catch every other night with Peter Burns. But I still suspect, Daniel, they'll keep Rushing in the catcher rotation. As that one is flared away, because when you have Rushing behind the plate, obviously Peter Burns has done a great job this year at getting on base, although his average is sub 200. But when you got Rushing in the plate, it allows you to be more flexible with your infield positions. You could have Moylan at first, Anderson at third, Agnos at third, and Anderson at first. Tonight you get Goodwin at third and Anderson over there at first. Agnos is DHing. So with Rushing behind the plate, it gives you a lot more options. There's that one, a called strike.
Yeah, especially when Dalton Rushing has so many other niches as far as how he can defend. And Peter Burns is a sole catcher. That's his only position. And for Garcia to come in as well, he's a authentic catcher. And Dalton Rushing, he has so many other functions out there in the infield. You can see him at first, designated hitting. And so for him to not necessarily have to worry about calling a game or being behind the plate and giving those to Peter Burns and Garcia, it might just clear his head and improve on already a stellar average that he's posting at the plate.
Payoff pitch is a fastball that misses high, so Josh Eknes issues his 5th walk of the game. And just 2 down here in the second. So an inning and 2/3 for Eknes and 5 free passes as the Braves bullpen starts to move around just a little bit. We'll try to get who is warming up for the Bravos. And it appears that it's going to be the lefty Frank Doling starting to get loose as that one misses high. There is nowhere to put Casey Harford. So Doling, the 6', 190-pound rider, senior from Riverside, New Jersey, as we expected, would be first out of relief. Still yet a hit from the Commodores today, as that one chopped foul right towards Calvin Cristoforo, who sidesteps the bouncing baseball. The Braves also adding Bryson Cafaro, a lefty from Fairfield. So a Braves staff, Daniel, that only had one lefty in Michael Sansone after the departure of Nick Zawak, and now much more versatile in that bullpen with 3 lefties you can turn to. That one chopped over to third, easy there for Goodwin. He'll step on the bag, and Josh Eknes evades his way out of a bases-loaded jam to send us here to the top of the second inning.
Yeah, and with the 2 new pitchers coming in, Josh Eknes allows no runs across, even though he got himself into a bit of trouble in both innings. I've got to imagine we're going to see a new pitcher, but how about that for Josh Eknes? He put himself behind and then just battled back, and we're still scoreless here at Doran.
We go to the bottom of the second with the Braves trying to get on the board. Colby Thomas gets things started here for the Braves in the bottom of the second against Jack Jasiak. First pitch here from Jasiak, and Thomas had ideas of what he did to the Commodores the last pitch that he saw. This one skied into shallow left. Coming in a long way there is Anthony Hall, but first pitch swinging is Colby Thomas. He's retired for out number 1.
Kevin Graber, one of the coaches he throws batting practice, says if he had a home run derby and had to bet on someone, Colby Thomas would be right up there along with Dalton Rushing. Even if you see that fly ball, the amount of power behind it, I mean, he was centimeters off from sending that one over the fence. He has been stellar. Just misses there, but we'll see him soon again. And Joe Lampe, another guy who is hot. Last time against the Falmouth Commodores as he takes a first pitch strike. Had a single and a triple sliding head first, and he had an impressive day. Another reason why we escaped with a 9-8 victory.
Joe Lampe has finally found the stroke at the plate again. Might have found himself in the 6th spot, at least for the time being. He takes that one. Another strikeout or half, 0-2.
Well, he's batting .276 on the season, 6 RBIs, and he's going to be adding to that because he usually was starting the lineup at the 1 spot. Now down at the 6.
Lampe right back to us on the net, 0-2. The Braves with 10 more runs a night ago. Oh, 2. They appeal down to third, and he did not go around. As French didn't like the call, neither did Jasiak. I thought he held up, though. What did you think, Daniel?
I did too, and the Falmouth Commodores dugout did not agree, but
I will say, I thought Rushing went around in the first inning. I thought that was a great call, but I did think Joe Lampe, on an unbiased opinion, not just because I'm the Bourne broadcaster with Daniel. 1-2. Lampe sprays this foul off the net. You look at the league leaders in runs scored. Once again, I obviously love comparing the team-by-team statistics after the Braves scored 10 a night ago. Braves leading the league, 129 runs scored. Orleans is 12 behind them with 117. 1-2. That's a breaking ball that dives in the dirt. So the Braves obviously have scored the most runs and they've allowed the least. That's why you're 19-2-3.
and clearly going to be the first team to have an opportunity to hit the 20 mark, and that would be something else. 20-2 sounds really, really nice.
2-2, and Lampe takes the breaking ball to the right side. You look at this Bourne pitching staff and how excellent they've been. Obviously, there have been a game in which they struggled, and that was Monday, allowing 8 runs. Obviously, although Harwich chipped away, 4 runs for the Mariners, which to us is unexpected. 4 runs in any game from a pitching staff is pretty average if you look around at the Cape League. Would put the average run scored right around the 4 or 5 mark as Lampe lifts this one into left. Anthony Hall comes in. And 2 flyouts to left. Begin the inning for Jasiak, 2 down. But you look at, obviously, the league average in runs scored, and you look at the Bourne pitching staff that has only allowed 61 earned runs. But there's another pitching staff that is coming close to rivaling the success that the Bourne Braves have had, and that's the team atop the Eastern Division, the Brewster Whitecaps, a team that has only allowed 72 earned runs. And this one is skied up by Tanner Schobold. Who wants it? In the Bermuda Triangle. It's almost a collision, but it's the shortstop, Casey Harford, who makes the catch. So a quick 2 innings in the books here from Doran Park. And it's scoreless as we head to the 3rd. Reeves Jackson, Daniel Coates back with you as Commodores come up. Jace Borfin leads things off as Daniel Coates will take you through innings 3 and 4.
Well, thank you, Reeves. Jace Borfin, the right fielder for the Falmouth Commodores, advanced to first on a walk in the first inning. He's down early, 0-2, and just like that, Eknes looks like he's found the strike zone. Eknos in his first start, now appearing in his third inning. That one's taken to left field, should be handled easily, just shy of the warning track. That's Wimmer out in left for out number 1.
A good pitch there to Borfin, gets the fly out for the first out.
University of Florida, number 23, Chris Armstrong.
Chris Armstrong, the first baseman, also advanced with a walk, and Eknes making quick work of Borfin's second appearance. First pitch a bit high, and Dalton rushing behind the plate has to extend the arm. Pitch count is already fairly high for Eknes today. That one is chopped towards good when he gets it shoulder high, and with the gun, gets out number 2. So a nice play from Nick Goodwin, who is making his first start at third. Often there is Zach Agnos or Max Anderson. Nick Goodwin, the Kansas State kid, making the play here for out number 2 in the top of the third. We're scoreless here at Doran Park, and Eknes, for a pitcher who has not given up a hit, has already gotten himself into some trouble, but he's worked out of both the second as well as the first with multiple base runners.
Yeah, he's done a great job, obviously, coming in here this half inning and throwing strikes. And what do you get when you throw strikes? Well, you get the defense to work behind you.
Jonathan French now ahead 2-0. The last time we saw him, he grounded and ended the inning over towards Christian Knapczyk at second, Tanner Schobel at short. The 1-2 punch and an incredibly talented middle infield. And that is a frozen rope to right field, right center, and the center fielder, Joe Lampe, is going to be there. And that will finish things for the top of the third. And I'm going to send it down to you, Calvin. Obviously, Josh Eknes was having trouble finding the strike zone. He seems to have found it there. Talk about the persistence of a starting pitcher who might start a bit inconsistent for him to work back into his groove, as we saw Josh Eknes do right there.
Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce.
Five base runners have already been stranded for the Falmouth Commodores. Josh Eknes finishing out the third inning, that about as clean a half inning as you can get. And Eknes in his first start, as Calvin outlined, he's coming in. He had some trouble finding the zone. He seemed to have found his groove. I'm not sure if we're going to see him for a fourth inning. What do you think, Reeves?
That's tough. That's a tough question, but I'm going to say yes, because I think the Braves are a little shorter on pitching today from where they would like to be, obviously, with the arms getting fresh with the off day tomorrow, back again on Friday. Maybe Tristan Vreeling on the mound, but obviously back to the outing in Eknes. I do think we see him go a fourth inning, because he was just 1, 2, 3, and 4 or 5 pitches that last half inning. 5 walks on 3 innings pitched, but I think we'll see him back out for a fourth.
Well, we're going to see the Bourne Braves bats for the third time tonight, and Zach Agnos for the first time tonight. He's at the designated hitter position. On deck is Nick Goodwin, and in the hole is the top of the order. 0-0 scoreless at Doran Park. On a night that we expected rain, we have not gotten any, maybe a drop or two, but looks like all the green is going to miss us south. Jasiak still on the mound and misses low to Zach Agnos, who's coming in at the designated hitter position. Nick Goodwin taking over Agnos' usual defensive position. Swing and a miss, 1-1.
Yeah, Zach had that big 2-run blast the last time these two teams squared off on Monday. A shot that was over the batting cages in the bottom of the third, and he's up in a similar spot here, bottom 3, but nobody aboard.
And he's facing a 1-2 hole now.
So far, it looks like the inconsistent Jasiak is reverting back to that trend of bad, good, and he's pitching well here thus far.
2-2 after that one catches the dirt, and the kid from the University of South Florida. The Bulls were playing the mascot challenge here every time we get a new college. They're the Bulls, right?
They are
USF
the Bulls. You got it. You got it.
USF Bull, Jasiak with a 2-2 count against the ECU Pirate. And the Bull gets the advantage. That's a strikeout for Jasiak. First one of the bottom of the third.
A nice pitch there from Jasiak, and with 3 strikeouts to the first 8 in this order. As Goodwin now comes to the plate. He's rounding out that lineup today. Have seen Peter Burns in the 9th spot, have seen Zach Agnos in the 9th spot, but now you see one of those prototypical middle infielders, although Goodwin over at third, rounding out that spot, almost acting as a secondary leadoff guy.
And there goes Nick Goodwin to center field. In comes Hodo. That's going to be a routine fly ball for out number 2. Nick Goodwin pokes one to center field. Not far enough to go over the fence, not short enough to drop in the gap there in that triangle. 2 outs, and Jasiak looks as efficient as ever. And Reeves, we saw that he let up 3 runs, then let up 0 in 5 innings pitched, then let up 3 again. It seems like there's a trend going on here, and there's 0 let up here. And 0 runs in total for both sides in the bottom of the third.
Yeah, just a pitcher's duel here early on. Knapczyk is the only guy to reach base, and that was on a first inning single. But it appeared the Braves offense might be off to another hot start after Knapczyk reached on that single. The infield grounded over to Hartford, in which he had to go to his knees to grab.
1-0 battled off by Knapczyk. The foul ball king, it seems like. What is that, his 6th or 7th of the game in 2 appearances? Unbelievable. Just how he works the count, how he works these pitchers, and really how he fatigues them after a while. 1-1. A nice breaking ball from Jasiak has Christian Knapczyk way ahead. Now leading in the average column in the entire league, as well as this Bourne Braves team. He singled. That's the only single in this entire game, and it was an infield poke to Hartford at shortstop, and he beat it out. 1-2. Another foul ball for the Louisville kid. And it will stay at 1-2. You also have to ask the question, Jasiak has been known to go the distance. He's gone 5 innings before and has let up 0 runs. That was 2 appearances ago. Will we see him for another handful of innings after this?
Absolutely. I think they're going to let Jasiak ride. He saw 5 shut it against Brewster.
And that 1-2 is taken to center field. Hodo on the run, catches it easily just before the warning track for out number 2. We're done with the third, going to the fourth. And what looks like another great West Division matchup against these Falmouth Commodores that we just saw 2 days ago here at Dorn Park. Josh Eknes back on the mound, missing high. This is Eknes' 4th inning appeared in his first start of the entire season. He has not let up a hit yet, and that might be the first one we're seeing. Anthony Hall going back, and at the fence, Thomas crushes those dreams for Anthony Hall. I thought it might have been a home run shot off the bat, Reeves.
Yeah, right center plays very deep, though, as we know here at this park. I thought he got under it a little too much. Definitely gave it a ride, but maybe to right field a little more, and it could have been gone, but just hit it to that power alley. That's tough to get out.
So the outfield continues to change as far as the personnel we see as a first pitch breaking ball drops high and outside. Colby Thomas at right, Joe Lampe at center, and Braylon Wimmer at left field. And the 0-1 for the Lamar University. Josh Eknes now ahead 0-2 with 1 out in the top of the 4th. In a game that has flown by, Eknes has allowed 5 base runners on for the Falmouth Commodores. All 5 have been stranded. He knows how to battle back, but it took him about 2 innings to really find the strike zone as he misses with an 0-2 count there.
Yeah, he's been much more effective, obviously, I think we've come to see. He's finding the zone, he's painting the corners, and he's getting downhill with that fastball. A little too downhill there and bounced it, but he's been much more effective at just being around the zone. And I think, obviously, that visit from Eddie Marco helped, and I'm sure Josh was trying to work on a few things with Coach Eddie Marco in between innings as he saw him come out for that third, and he was crisp as all get out.
Swing and a miss. Another strikeout for Josh Eknes against Michael Curiali, who again continues to struggle. When I saw his new average after a handful of games since we've last seen him, the last time we saw him was at Gov Fuller. I mean, boy, he has been on a slump as of late. The third man faces Anthony DeFabia, who had a sacrifice bunt, improving 2 Commodores from first to second and third. Really one of the only productive contact made by the Falmouth Commodores comes from the reliever that we saw 2 days ago. DeFabia faces a 1-0, swings and misses at a fastball right above the dirt.
Yeah, as we mentioned, DeFabia on the season getting his first plate appearance on the mound. Introduced him the other night on Monday. 3-0, a 4.50 ERA. But against the Braves this year, as I mentioned, 5 runs, 5 hits, and no outs recorded.
2-1 now. That was the 71st pitch by Josh Eknes.
We were talking with the Falmouth commentators, and they said, well, DeFabia might have been an all-star if it wasn't for his outings against Bourne here at Dorn Park.
Well, he has an opportunity here to get on base with another ball pitched to him. DeFabia had a sacrifice bunt. He was thrown out at first by Josh Eknes. On deck is going to be the 9-spot hitter, Cody Colden. And a chance for Eknes to go 1-2-3 for the second time. And that's a hard hit ball to left field. Braylon Wimmer going back on stride. It just gets over, and I think that's going to be a ground rule double. And it is. How about that? DeFabia proving he can do it all around the diamond. And just like that, a Commodore is in scoring position and on second.
And look at the dugout's reaction there for Anthony DeFabia. They burst into emotion as their first hit of the day comes from a pitcher who made it to the Cape League due to his performance on the mound, someone who hasn't had an at-bat in over a year, and he almost took Eknes out of the ballpark. That was impressive. I thought Wimmer was going to be able to track it down, but did not quite get out.
DeFabia takes over second, and Cody Colden sends one to center field. Joe Lampe right underneath it for out number 2. So a 6th Falmouth Commodore stranded on the base path. But how about DeFabia with a good piece of hitting? The pitcher is the only one who's gotten it done as far as hitting for the Falmouth Commodores. 1 hit apiece, no runs on either side here at Dorn Park. Jasiak still on the mound as he squeezes one into the strike zone with the breaking ball to Max Anderson, who on the day flew out to right. The lights are on here at Doran. Swing and a miss, 2 breaking balls in a row.
That slider there from Jasiak has been hard to hit. Not sure from up here if it's a slider or more like a sweeping breaking ball. But whatever it is, might be a sweeping curve. Has a little more up and down action than it does side to side. It's a really good pitch. Almost got Maxey there with a good fastball.
Just missed the outside corner. Would have been 3 pitches, 3 strikes if it caught. It's a 1-2 count, and Max Anderson coming in today, 318 average. That's 3rd best on the team. He's an all-star just announced yesterday from Nebraska. Swing and a miss. Dropped 3rd strike. French guns it down. That's out number 1. And Max Anderson can't get it done for the 2nd time. And Dalton Rushing looking to improve off a first inning strikeout against Jasiak.
Dalton Rushing.
Yeah, Rushing and Wimmer also went down via strikeout in their first plate appearances, so trying to change that, but Jasiak with 4 punch-outs here through 3 1/3.
Dalton Rushing has 16 RBIs on the season.
My goodness.
4 home runs. He is 25 for 78. I mean, talk about efficiency. We've seen him. He's one of the most well-known batters in all of the Cape League, and for good reason. He knows how to send it out of the ballpark. A 1-1 count from Jasiak, who, you know, for a kid like Jasiak, he's at 50 pitches. In the 4th inning, we've seen him in Eknes. His pitch count is really up there. He's only given up 1 hit, no runs in this entire game.
Yeah, he's been extremely efficient against the player of the week in Rushing, who had a 350 clip. And obviously was named to that all-star team. Obviously no all-star game, unfortunately. But the first 4 hitters in this lineup again today, Knapczyk, Anderson, Rushing, Wimmer, all all-stars to go along with 5 Brave pitchers. If you listen to our broadcast yesterday, we'll tell you more about those guys here in just a sec, the 2-2. But obviously Michael Sansone, Tristan Vreeling, Eric Adler, Austin Parsley, and Jake Bennett. All named all-stars from the Braves pitching staff, and much deserved for those guys. I'm sure Graceffo and Zwack would have had an argument if they had still been here, too.
Tied for the most all-stars with a team like yesterday. That one's taken high to right. Should be a routine fly ball as well. Here comes Borfin for out number 2. In a game that ended 2 nights ago at 9-8, it looks like we're seeing a very different type of game here.
Yeah, pitcher's duel between Eknes and Jasiak with just 2 hits in the game, 1 for either side. That 1 hit came in the first batter of the game from the Braves in Knapczyk. And then on the flip side of things for the Commodores, they got their first hit on that DeFabia double just a half inning ago.
Showing bunt, Braylon Wimmer pulls back. It still hits the zone. That was the 54th pitch for Jasiak. Looks like there's action in the Braves bullpen out there in left field where Braylon Wimmer plays defensively. 0-1. He thought about that one, and Braylon Wimmer struck out in the last appearance against Jasiak. So the UCF pitcher has been quite effective today. Really good stuff from him in what has been an up-and-down Cape League season for him. That one's drilled to left field. Going back. It's going to bounce off the fence. Here comes Wimmer. He's going to make it to second base. Will he go for 3? No, he puts on the brakes and steps back to second. 2-out double for Braylon Wimmer to left field over the head of Hall.
Yeah, beautiful piece of hitting by Braylon. Just a fastball there from Jasiak that caught way too much of the plate. And Braylon just drove it over Hall's head and left and pulled into second base with one of the easier stand-up doubles you'll see.
And just the man you want to see at the plate if you have a man in scoring position, Colby Thomas. He's coming in with 10 RBIs in just the last week. Or what I should say 8 days, considering the first game at Hyannis. nevertheless, it's been an impressive stretch for Colby Thomas. That one's going to be out of play for strike number 1, and Braylon Wimmer was off to the races.
Yes, he was. Obviously.
Just in case it might have dropped down in shallow right. Joe Lampe on deck, but how about that for Braylon Wimmer, whose role here in Bourne is going to be amplified, especially after the departure of Caden Wallace.
Yeah, without a doubt. Braylon's going to be really locked into that cleanup spot in the lineup, and burden's gonna fall on him a little bit more as far as when you look at the microscope of who needs to produce. Obviously, Caden Wallace was a nice protection and a nice blanket in that middle of the order, and obviously you're going to see a lot more pitches if you're a guy like Braylon Wimmer. Not that Braylon can't hit because he's one of the best hitters on the team, but Caden, obviously, with his ability to rake at the plate, pitchers were going to be a little more scared to pitch to Caden, just as we saw multiple times, which means whoever's hitting before and behind Caden, we're going to see more pitches to hit for the sole purpose of the pitchers need to get those guys out. Mm-hmm. So Braylon is really taking on that Caden-like role.
And we saw it there with that 2-out double.
And same with Colby, both of those guys.
Swing and a miss from Colby Thomas. He's 0 for 2 on the day and leaves a man on scoring position on second base. Braylon Wimmer slowly walks back to the dugout. Scoreless here at Doran Park, 0-0 in the second matchup in the last 3 days against the Falmouth Commodores. They're on the road again, and we're scoreless once again. Going to the 5th.
Back with you here in the top of the 5th inning as Frank Doling makes his first relief appearance and first appearance in a Bourne Braves uniform. The newly added left-hander from Rider University will take over in a scoreless game after 4 scoreless from Josh Eknes. Joined by a special guest up here. It is Ellie Coker, one of our social media interns, along with Joe Sullivan, as we'll be talking all things social here in the top of the 5th, as Doling will have to deal with the Falmouth lineup here of Hodo, Hartford, and Bourne. Ellie, good to have you. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Good, good. So obviously, the social media team, it's one of the best in the league, if not the best in the league. Would you agree?
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, let's do to you and Joe, obviously. Here's the 1-0 from Doling, and he laces this one foul. Look, I just hit Aaron in there. You would have been down there, Ellie, if you didn't come up this inning. Aren't you glad? I just hit Aaron in the leg.
That's actually the second ball that has hit her today.
Oh my gosh, poor Aaron. She needs to
Yeah.
do some medical examination on herself, apparently.
Probably. Where did that hit her?
I think in the leg, but I think she's fine.
Nice.
What's been the most fun part about getting to do content creation for the social media team? What's been your favorite part? Has it been the TikTok videos? Has it been obviously the great photos you take? What's been your favorite part?
Oh, I'm a really big fan of our TikTok.
Okay.
I think everyone should follow it.
All right, and that is it's at Bourne Braves, right?
Yeah, at Bourne Braves on TikTok.
Okay.
We're doing pretty well.
What is your favorite TikTok that you guys have produced and published thus far?
Oh my God. That's
That's a tough question.
That's a really hard question. I'm a really big fan of when we gave Braylon Wimmer the
Okay.
camera.
Yeah.
And then we have all of the shots.
That's really funny.
That's my favorite one.
That one was good. I also love the Eric Adler kissing people.
Oh, that was a good one.
That
too.
was really funny. 3-1 here from Doling to the leadoff hitter Hodo. Swing and a miss. We know that Doling is rushing, sails that ball over, Doling said. As Rushing shakes his head. We know that Frank Doling has a very good changeup. 6-foot, 190-pounder from Riverside, New Jersey. And obviously getting the late call to the Bourne Braves and joining a team at 19-2-3. So outside of the TikTok, of course, social media-wise, what have you and Joe done? Or maybe if you can tease, what are some plans that you guys have for going forward? Is there anything that you guys have in the works that you guys want to try out?
Well, we got mics to mic
Okay.
players up a while ago. We're just waiting on some adapters. We might just be going through our phones. So that could potentially happen.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the fans would love to get to hear, I mean, a lot of the guys, but Zach Agnos, Joe Lampy.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've been down there. You spent a lot of the time around the players. Obviously, outside of Agnos and Lampy, who are some of the big personalities on this team? Or are those two guys really the first two that come to mind? Who else,
Oh,
though?
we have so many. All of them have a personality.
That's good, though. That's good.
Yeah.
That's what makes a team mesh like this one.
I think you could give the mic to any one of them, and you would get good content.
Okay. Any ideas on who you would first try out? Who the first guy that you would mic up is? How many mics did you guys get? 2?
We have 2.
Okay. So would you guys mic them up both at the same time? Or would you guys do one and then for a certain point of the game and then one later? Or how would you guys go about that?
We actually cannot mic them up during the game. That's like
Okay.
a
So
key
can't do that.
rule.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But you would do it during what? Practice?
Yeah.
Or BP, obviously?
Yeah, probably BP
Okay.
or something like
Exactly.
that.
I'm sure you can get a lot of good content. I'm
For
sure Eric
sure.
Adler would give a lot of good content.
Yeah, I was going to say we would probably go to him first.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know, who's still here?
Who's still here?
Maybe,
Napjack?
Yeah, or Dalton.
Okay. I've heard Dalton's got an interesting personality.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Yeah. 1-1. This is a bouncer over in the hole at short. Schobel backhands. Only play to first, and he's going to airmail Anderson. That's going to go off the fence. Staying at first is Harford, and Hodo will take the turn and head for third. So on that 3-2 pitch to Hodo, a changeup from Doling that barely missed on the inner half. Rushing was ready to throw it around. It was called ball 4, and Harford reaches on an E6 from Tanner Schobel.
The right fielder from the University of Oklahoma, number 16.
As now the Commodores are threatening with runners on the corners, and Jace Borfin coming to the plate. As Dalton Rushing will come out of the crouch and give some signals to the infield, as Falmouth looking to break through first in this game here today. How's it been working with Joe? How's Joe?
Great. Joe is a great partner for social media. He can do everything. Absolutely everything. He could play on the field.
Yeah, he can. He's been a bullpen catcher. He's even gotten 3 Cape League at-bats. As a swing and a miss, good change up there from Doling. Joe obviously grew up on the Cape, and he's experienced a lot of his life here. Was with Hyannis for the longest of times, and even has gotten 3 Cape League at-bats, 3 strikeouts, albeit, but that is a cool experience. Joe was even at Fenway Park recently.
Yeah. I was there when he got the invite.
How about that?
Very excited.
I'm
for
sure
him.
he had a smile ear to ear.
Yeah.
And obviously, the social media team known to talk trash a little bit. Is that Joe's doing or is that your doing?
I'd credit most of it to Joe.
Smart, even if it was some of you. No, but Joe definitely Likes to talk smack to other teams, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
I mean, it's funny.
No, it's funny. It's great
Yeah.
content. Great content. 0-2. This one fouled back. So, Ellie, what's your favorite part that you like to do as far as, like, what do you do? What does Joe handle mostly, and what do you handle mostly on a day-by-day basis, or do you guys switch roles?
Oh, we do not switch roles.
Okay, so you guys kind of got it figured out early on?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Day by day, I pretty much just do TikTok content. I get a lot of video. I haven't as much recently. Joe does most of our photos, along with Pedro and like that kind of stuff.
Taylor-made double play ball, nap check to Schobel, return throw though, and Bourne will beat that out. It's an RBI ground out, and the Commodores strike first in the top of the fifth. It's 1-0 Bourne with a productive out. He reaches on the fielder's choice, and forced over at second is Casey Harford.
Armstrong.
Ellie, how about that game we had here on Monday, that Colby Thomas walk-off homer? That was pretty special, and social media was blowing up after that. But obviously, social media blew up. Obviously, the late departure, Caden Wallace. But when he had that walk-off against Hyannis, I think that Twitter video of you guys going out to celebrate, did I get over 600 likes, I believe?
On Twitter.
On Twitter, yeah.
I do not know how many likes we got on Twitter. I
Okay.
know we put it on the TikTok
Okay.
as well.
How did that do?
Not as good as the Twitter.
Okay.
Well, actually, no. It definitely got over 1,000 views. I'm pretty sure. But
First pitch ball here to Chris Armstrong. We'll take you back here, take the audience back to a special moment in the season. Colton Bender having the opportunity to get drafted 310th overall in the 10th round by the San Diego Padres. And obviously it was kind of a different moment as he got a call, didn't know if he was going to be drafted, was told by his agent and his scout that you have the possibility to go. Maybe it's the 8th, maybe it's the 9th, maybe it's the 10th. He wasn't exactly sure. Colton obviously ultimately ended up getting the call on the 10th. Nick Galley was down there, our beat reporter. Obviously, you and Joe were down there. Daniel and I, Calvin, it was all kind of a surreal scene. And obviously, you guys posted that on the Bourne Braves TikTok, and that one was one of the more successful TikToks that there's been.
yes, that has, I want to say, close to 200,000 views right now.
Wow.
It was a pretty cool moment. I'm like really glad Colton has that video.
Yeah, it was something that he'll be able to cherish forever. Doling has fallen behind Armstrong here. 3 balls and no strikes. Ellie, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh, God.
Oh, God, I know. Do you have any personal favorites as far as players? Obviously, you get to do a lot with them with TikTok creations and photos. As that one misses, a 4-pitch walk to Armstrong. And now first and second for the Commodores. Braves bullpen still inactive at the current moment, but you had a chance to think about it. Who are some guys that you really like to interact with, and some of the guys that you go to for creation on social media?
I mean, they're all just like really great guys. We really lucked out. We have a great team.
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason they've been
Yeah.
so successful.
Definitely. As far as content goes, like me and Joe, we know we can ask Eric Adler to pretty much do anything, and he'll do it. Zach and Christian they started the TikTok for us, essentially. Like, they were our first big TikTok guys. I mean, some of the guys, they're not as into, like, being on camera. I'm not huge about being on camera, so I totally get it.
Well, obviously, those are the guys that have been the forefront of the social media and why it's been so entertaining. And there's obviously a lot to post when you have the season like the Braves are having. When you got 19 wins, you have a lot of happy attitudes and a lot of happy guys. And it makes it easier, I'm sure, on you guys as well, right?
Oh, definitely. If we were losing, it'd be kind of,
It's tougher. It's probably tougher to approach the guys if the team had a tendency to lose more than, obviously, the Braves have a tendency to win almost every single game.
Oh, yeah, but, like, approaching guys, like, for content and stuff like that, you always have to be a little bit careful because you have to keep in mind their mindset and, like, have some feel.
Absolutely. No, yeah.
That's something I had to learn because sometimes I don't think too much. And, yeah.
Well, that's good. 1-1 here to Jonathan French. And the Braves trailing 1-0, although they have out-hit the Commodores by 1 in a very non-offensive showing thus far. Doling to the plate, covering the bag was Knapczyk. It left the right side of the field wide open. But French was unable to exploit it as he fouls it back. Count is 1-2. Doling obviously had to deal with the air from Schobel over at short. And when she overthrew Anderson, it allowed Hodo to go to third. And then Bourne, a hitter later, bounced out to second with a force play in which Knapczyk flipped to Schobel to get Harford. And then Armstrong just walked. Those have been the 4 hitters in the sequences they have endured thus far as French fouls this one away. Still 1-2. Ellie, obviously, you said you have family here. That it's in Falmouth. Is that what?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So
my mom is from Falmouth, and my
Okay.
grandparents still live here.
got it. So is the Cape a popular destination every summer?
Yes,
Okay.
and in the winter, all seasons.
Got it.
I actually grew up a Commodores kid, so this is a little awkward for me.
Well, I guess now that you're interning for the Braves,
Oh yeah,
it can make it-
Bravos all the way.
Bravos all the way, absolutely. 1-2 from Doling. Breaking ball, swing and a miss, and that will retire French, who continues his struggles at the plate. Now 0 for 8 in the last 2 games against the Braves, dating back to his 0 for 5 that he had against Bourne on Monday. Ellie, where do you go to school? Tell the audience where you go to school.
So I go to the University of San Francisco, out in California.
Okay, how is that?
It's awesome. It's a really great school. We've got a great baseball team. They're a good team.
Yeah, so obviously last year's your freshman year, correct? Yeah. COVID was what you had to deal with.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you're excited to go back now that it has lessened a bit.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, we were in San Francisco, so everything was pretty much shut down.
That's line to the right field. That's a base hit. Coming to the plate here is Bourne. There will be no play for Colby Thomas. It's an RBI single for Anthony Hall. And Falmouth has put up 2 here in the inning against Frank Doling. 1 earned, 1 unearned. As Falmouth has taken a quick 2-0 lead.
Second baseman from UCLA, number 6.
So what did you do for San Francisco as far as did you work in social media at all there, or did you work with the baseball team at all?
I did work with the baseball team. So the campus was shut down for all of COVID, essentially the whole year. But I was lucky enough to go out to San Francisco for spring semester, and I got to work with the baseball team. So I did some of their social media, like I did their game day posts. We tried to start a TikTok, did not work out. And I was student manager with them, so I helped with our director of baseball operations and that kind of thing.
So I'm sure you were glad to see the TikTok here come to fruition,
Oh,
since the one in
definitely.
San Francisco did
Definitely.
not. 1-0, and that one is fouled back. Where do you see most of the interaction? Is it on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok? Because I'm sure a lot of the parents have Facebook. I'm sure Facebook gets a decent amount of.
Yeah, Facebook is definitely a lot of the parents.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom.
Yep.
I think our Twitter just does well with people see it.
Yeah, exactly.
And because that has our biggest following, I'm pretty positive.
Okay.
And then I mean, Instagram obviously it's a big platform. So I think we do pretty well on Instagram. People like it. The guys share their stuff because some of these guys have a lot of followers on Instagram.
Yeah. Braylon does, and
Yeah.
Caden as well when he was here, among others, a lot of others, obviously.
Yeah, we kind of depend on them to boost our content.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the more eyes you get on it, obviously, the more things can take off. 2-1 the count here to Curiali. 0 for 1, a walk and a strikeout. First and second for the Commodores. 2-1, bounced over to third. Goodwin on the run, throws over to Anderson, and that takes care of the Commodores, but not before they scored 2 runs and take an early 2-0 lead on the Braves. Ellie, it was great having you. I appreciate you joining me, and best of luck on the social media side for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
As we head to the bottom of the 5th, the Braves bats coming back up. Reeves Jackson back joined by Daniel Coates. It was nice having Ellie Coker, second half of our social media production team, along with Joe Sullivan, who you had on 2 broadcasts ago. And Joe Lampy leading off the bottom of the 5th, first pitch swinging pop-up behind the plate. French tosses the mask and corrals it for out number 1.
Definitely not the half inning we were expecting or hoped for, especially for the first outing from Frank Dolan. But again, every time the Braves have had to answer, they have come out and done so. I don't expect any different here tonight, especially with Tanner Schobel up to the plate and a handful of innings still to go. It's only the bottom of the 5th. We had 6 runs at the top of the 9th, if I need to remind anyone.
This is a Braves team that has played the comeback kid role successfully all season.
And you know what? One of the things is we were going to have to score 2 runs anyway, and we got out of a few innings with some luck, especially sacrificing 6 guys on base and stranding them, but we're going to have to score a handful of runs anyways to beat this Falmouth Commodores team who we know puts up runs. So got to get it done with the bats here.
0-2 to Schobel. How about the job from Jack Jasiak today? Boy, has he been outstanding. I'm sure the Braves are ready for when he's chased from the game, potentially after this inning. The pitch count for Jasiak at 63 is the count at 1-2.
Yeah, I told the guys in the press box when Ellie was on, this just has the feel of a game that the starter and Jasiak leaves and then we jump all over the bullpen. That's kind of what we did with DeFabio, who's at the 8th spot for the Commodores.
Funny enough, Schobel swings and misses for strike 3, and Jasiak is having his way with the Braves' order today.
Yeah, nothing really going for the Braves. Only 2 hits on the day. One of them was Braylon Wimmer with a double to left with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th, and he was only able to make it to second. The other was the first batter of the game, Christian Knapczyk. And Zach Agnos looking to right the ship. He had a homer the last time he played the Commodores. That was the second of the game. Of course, the second one was Colby Thomas.
Agnos squared around there, but pulls back. A lot of these hitters like to show bunt on the first pitch just to kind of get a gauge. Sometimes it throws the pitcher off a little bit and can change the delivery when they see that. Count 1-0 to Agnos. He's been a hotter hitter of late. Had the sacrifice fly and RBI in yesterday's game. Back in the first inning. Did Zach. Zach then walked and scored as a part of the big Braves 9th inning. And he lifts this one into shallow left. Anthony Hall is going to have no problem, comes in and makes the catch. 1-2-3 go the Braves again. And how about the job from Jack Jasiak thus far today? 8, 9, and 1 to Fabia, Colden, and Hood against Frank Doling. Top half of the 6th inning and a first pitch strike to DeFabia, who, to our surprise, laced a ground rule double in his last at-bat after laying down a beautiful sac bunt. So it appears DeFabia knows how to handle the bat just fine.
He's been one of the most effective Commodores at the plate today. He had that sacrifice bunt, like you said, Reeves, and had a real shot to left over the head of Braylon Wimmer. I thought it was going to be a home run, but he was stranded at second, looking for Doling to find the strike zone a bit more. He didn't get any help from Tanner Schobel with an error thrown over the head of Max Anderson from short. But for him, this is a new story. We're going to have to score 2 runs anyway, so just dial in and keep your focus on the strike zone.
Well, if you're wondering where Rider University is, it is in Lawrence Township, New Jersey. So we're on the northeastern half of the United States. Do you know where that is, Daniel? I know you have a few friends from New Jersey. Lawrence Township, does that ring a bell?
Township rings a bell. Not necessarily sure about Lawrence, but
okay.
I'm going to have to ask them. Maybe I'll ask them right now.
It's in Lawrenceville, New Jersey. That one is fouled back. There's Doling from Riverside High School. Hometown of Riverside, New Jersey. He made 9 appearances on the mound this past year as a junior. All of them starts. He went 5-2 with a 3.35 ERA. He struck out 54 batters in 51 innings. His 3.35 ERA ranked 8th in the MAAC. And those 54 punch-outs that he had ranked 6th in the conference. But he ranked 16th nationally among all starting pitchers with 4 complete games. So this is Doling, who has thrown a lot of innings and has seen a lot of hitters. He's gone full here to DeFabia after starting him off 0-2. I'm sure he's familiar with one of our former friends in Colton Bender. He went 2 1/3, allowed 4 in against Quinnipiac. And the 3-2, a swing and a miss of DeFabia for out number 1. Also, for Frank Doling, he did make a start against SEC foe Alabama against the Crimson Tide on June 5th. He went 6 1/3, allowed 3 hits, 2 runs. He walked 5 but struck out 2. So he was excellent against a very, very good SEC baseball team in which you see the likes of Caden Rhodes, Owen Diodati, Jim Jarvis, all guys that go to Alabama. So that's a tough matchup, and Doling obviously excelled against guys that are in the Cape and obviously gets the opportunity to do the same with the Braves.
Yeah, and that's why he's here. Obviously, he's been up against some of the best competition in the entire nation, and I think for him right here, he just needs to settle down. It's his first appearance in a big stage. MLB scouts here, and Rider University is a smaller program, still sees great competition, but for him, this is the first time seeing a really well put together and high intensity lineup like the Falmouth Commodores have, and they're known to put up runs, so just find the strike zone and be confident with what you're throwing there.
1-1 misses inside and off the glove of rushing there to Cody Colden. 2-1 count to him. The 9-hole hitter is 0 for 2. He struck out looking and flew out to Joe Lampy in center. That was in his last plate appearance in the 4th. Currently in the 6th, where both teams have 2 hits apiece, but the Commodores on top 2-0. Just missed with a fastball.
Yeah, tight strike zone from the home plate umpire today. And just to look around the Cape, Harwich just beat the YD Red Sox 11-1. That's final in 7 innings. Falmouth, of course, up 2-0 here. Wareham up on Hyannis 2-1.
That ball is smoked into deep left field. Braylon Wimmer retreats. He looks up, and that ball sails into the Braves bullpen. A solo homer for Cody Colden, and the Commodores have tacked on another in the 6th, making it 3-0.
What a bomb there from Colden, who has been struggling at the plate. no struggle there, just ripped one over the head of Braylon Wimmer.
Now batting, the center fielder from the University of Texas, number
And a
17,
really deflating at-bat there for Doling. Not what you want to see. 3 runs is still manageable, but with each run it gets tougher and tougher, and that was not the way the Braves wanted to trend. With only 1 out here and no one on base, an opportunity to continue from the windup.
Breaking ball there from Doling. And a called strike to Douglas Hodo. As you mentioned, the scores around the league too, Daniel. Orleans on top of Brewster 1-0. What's that score of that Katuitt game?
Katuitt at the moment is down 3-9 at Veterans Field against the Chatham Anglers.
My. That one fouled away.
They continue to have a hard time in the last week.
I saw, you had your page open. I saw Katuitt with 3. I was like, okay, it's early on. It's what, bottom of the third? I was like, Katuitt might be up, 3-0, 3-1, 3-2. Scroll down, 9-3 Chatham. Oh my.
Yeah,
Things aren't going well for the Kettleers, are they?
I'll tell you what, they've been letting up runs left and right. This is only at the bottom of the third, Reeves.
My goodness.
And the Orleans Firebirds are on top of the Brewster Whitecaps 1-0 in the bottom of the fourth. We're going to see them here at Doran Park this Friday after the off day.
We will indeed. We're excited for that game. A Friday night Military Appreciation Night at Doran Park, the first of 2. Was supposed to be 3. 1 against Hyannis Scott called. 1-2 here to Hodo. Breaking ball bounced up the middle. Tanner Schobel gloves and throws for out number 2.
Tanner there bouncing back from his error the last time a ball came his way. He just gunned it a bit too high for Max Anderson's glove, and 2 outs here. Need to get out of this inning as quickly as possible. Casey Hartford, the 2-spot hitter, who reached last time he hit it over to Schobel. His 4th appearance today in this 6th inning. Falmouth has gotten their reps today. That one goes foul, as we usually do not see this type of appearances from the away team. We're fully under the lights here, Reeves, and what has been a perfect night. We haven't gotten 1 drop of rain.
And it's turned out to be perfect. Don't know how that shapes up for the rest of the weekend's forecast, but from what I checked this morning, this one ripped over to third. Nick Goodwin diving stop. His throw to first. In the stretch by Anderson. What a play by Nick Goodwin. Freshly inserted to the hot corner today and makes an outstanding play to end things for Doling and the Commodores in the top of the 6th. And back up here into the booth as we'll send things down to our own Calvin Cristoforo. Calvin, the Braves just lost one of their cornerstone pieces offensively in Caden Wallace. And tell me, what does the loss of Caden Wallace mean for an offense that had been so productive? And who are some guys that could really step up and fill in the roles of someone like Caden in the middle of the Braves order?
Reeves, there's no denying, it's a big loss for this team. This is a guy who's a mainstay in the Braves lineup, hitting .290, pair of home runs, 15 RBIs, was doing it with the bat and doing it with the glove. But if any team can sustain its loss, it's this Braves team. This is a team leading the league in hits, RBIs, average, pretty much every hitting category, and they are really loaded from top to bottom. So what you're going to see as far as lineup change, you're going to see a lot more Braylon Wimmer in left field, and you might see some Nick Goodwin in left field as well. We saw him get his first start in the outfield against Wareham on Saturday. So if any team can sustain its loss, it's this Braves team, who's been racking up hits and runs all over the yard. So it's a big loss, but this Braves team could definitely overcome it.
Great report, Calvin. Obviously, Daniel, there's going to be a shakeup in the Braves order now. Obviously, with Joe Lampe, he's going to kind of have to settle back into that 6th spot. I think with Caden gone, you'll see Braylon stay in the 4 spot. Although Braylon was in the 4 spot before, Caden was more in the 5 hole. Colby Thomas is going to get a chance to move up in the order. Everyone just kind of shifts up in the order, and you're going to see some guys that get more day off start to see, you're going to see those guys start to play more routinely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Braylon Wimmer's really going to be the guy. He's kind of been on and off. We've seen him every other day. He's going to be a staple in the lineup in the middle and the top, and I think he's going to be the guy who needs to step up in the departure of Caden Wallace. The difference when we lost Reggie Crawford was that we had guys coming in Max Anderson and Caden himself. This time it's going to have to come from within. These guys need to step up at the plate and fill a void, and Caden Wallace, who has proved to be one of the best batters in the entire Cape League, he has left a big hole in this lineup, and with some depleted pitchers and depleted bullpen at the moment with new arrivals, we might be seeing a little change here in this Braves team.
Goodwin skies this one right side. Out goes Armstrong. Over is Curiali in foul territory. He makes the grab for out number 1. Braves just cannot seem to get to Jasiak.
No, they can't. But if yesterday, as I continue on, was any indication, Braylon Wimmer and this team are going to respond like they always do, especially after departures. We already have seen Kyler Fedko hit the road, Reggie Crawford, of course, Grisefo, Zawak, now Caden Wallace. And every time we don't skip a beat.
We don't.
I think Nick Goodwin's going to be the guy who's a key player in filling the void, as well as Braylon Wimmer.
Knapcheck shoots one foul. It's headed for the concession stand and off of the roof. 0-1. Another good crowd tonight at Bourne Park. Daniel, if there's any indication on the crowds we have received for our 2 highest attended games, I think Friday night for Military Appreciation Night with the Friday Reds against Orleans, I think we get our biggest crowd Friday. Very potentially so, especially with the weather that we're supposed to get.
Yeah, should be beautiful the next few days. Christian Knapczyk needs to start something off here. Only 1 out. He singled back in the first. But this next stretch that we have is going to tell us a lot about what we should be expecting going into the playoffs. It's just going to start in early August.
Yeah, beautiful weather on Friday, and then we head to Chatham on Saturday. Another sunny day. Do have rain in the forecast for Sunday. That is against the Harwich Mariners, but we had about a 100% chance of thunderstorms in the forecast for today, and, well, look at the night we have. We're playing baseball. It's actually some pink baseball skies behind us. Obviously, the way the sun sets, this field is directed towards the east. And directly behind us, the sun sets. As Knapczyk sprays this into the screen. Stays alive, and 0-2.
Again with the foul ball. This kid just will have absolutely no quit at the plate. An 0-2, and he's going to keep battling. He's made contact each time. Really been the only one that has had the number of Jasiak, it seems.
Knapczyk and field pop-up. Who wants it? That's the third baseman, Cody Colden, who makes a basket catch for out number 2. Well, I know the Braves offense will be delighted when Jasiak departs from this game, whenever that may be. Don't know what his pitch count is going to be allowed to be extended to. He's at 75 through 5 2/3, but he is about to be through 6 shutout innings. And the word I used to describe him at the beginning of the telecast tonight was enigma. And I think that is maybe one of the best words to describe him. So mysterious about how his outings will go. 6 hits and 3 runs in 2 of his outings, 5 shutout against Brewster, and he's 1 out away from 6 shutout against the Braves tonight.
Yeah, he's throwing strikes and daring us to hit the ball, and we've only done that a couple of times. The only really good hit on the day has been Braylon Wimmer's, which we thought might have gone out of the park. It bounced over for a ground rule double, and Braylon Wimmer made it all the way to second. But other than that, nothing really from this offense, as Anderson's now behind the count 1-2, and Jasiak, I mean, I think in a normal college baseball weekend series, you'd see him go the distance here, but the Cape League is just built on getting guys reps. So I got to imagine after this inning, we're going to see the end of Jasiak's night.
Anderson with a soft loop to second. Curiali's got it, and Jack Jasiak just dominated this Braves lineup through 6 innings. The question of whether his night is done still yet to be determined, but the Braves bats need to wake up. They're scoreless through 6. Well, for the second straight pitcher, we're going to get a look at another fresh face. And if this lefty from Fairfield is any good as Michael Sansone, well, the Braves are going to be in good hands. It is lefty Bryson Cafaro. And Cafaro is a 6'2", 195-pounder from Ansonia, Connecticut. As Bryson Cafaro is on the mound, and to tell you all about his outing and potentially a Braves comeback over the course of the 7th and the 8th, I turn things over here to Daniel.
Well, let's hope so, Reeves. With a new pitcher, sparks new opportunity for the Braves here. First pitch from Cafaro is a breaking ball on the outside corner to Bourne, the right fielder who is 0 for 3 on the day. And he faces an 0-1 count. 1-1, and Cafaro coming from Fairfield, so knows our Michael Sansone, and what was an impressive year for Fairfield. They made it to the regionals. Cafaro was one of the reasons why they made it so far. And the first pitch taken to right center, going back further. That's going to bounce over the cage, and that's going to be a ground rule double. Joe Lampe unable to get to it, and it bounces off the warning track, so not the start Cafaro hoped for.
Yeah, Jace Bourne, who has had the Braves number, and that RBI fielder's choice, a walk, a fly out, and a ringing double to dead center. But you mentioned that Cafaro was one of the main reasons Fairfield had such a successful season, him and Sansone, and you're exactly spot on with that. His numbers were incredible at Fairfield in 2021. 12 appearances, 5 starts for the Stags, a 1.66 earned run average, 38 innings. He struck out 26, did walk 18, so at times struggled with command, but the Braves need arms, and these guys provide the Bravos with 2 new left-handed options out of the bullpen.
Bourne, with his first hit of the game, sends a deep drive and what I thought might have been a homer in the center part of this field. 2 balls first to Christopher Armstrong, who got on base back in the 5th off a walk.
Yeah, I think that piece of hitting by Bourne just goes to show you how tough it is to get one over that 395 sign in center. That ball was hit about as well as you could have possibly imagined, and it still stayed in the park.
2-0 cut and miss. 2-1 now. Bourne retreats back to second. The crowd has stayed in a 3-0 game where Falmouth has taken control. Jasiak is really the one to be credited with this lead here, keeping the Braves at the 0-run mark with only 2 hits. A check swing. Bourne kept at second. They get him at first with a ground out right back to Cafaro. A good way to get him down, and Armstrong trots back to the dugout. And in comes Jonathan French, 0 for 3 on the day for the catcher from Clemson. Cafaro quickly has to go to the stretch after allowing Bourne to rail one to right center. One out, high and deep drive to left. It looks like it's going into foul territory. Right there's Braylon Wimmer. He tries to snag it over the fence, but he is just a foot away. It'll drop for a foul ball.
My goodness, camera does not extend that far down the left field line. Braylon Wimmer almost joined a host of fans and lawn chairs down there trying to make that catch, but almost had it.
Oh, and 1 to Jonathan French. The first inning from Cafaro. 0-2, he's ahead now. Good fastball and good velocity off the hand for the Fairfield Stag. That's a deer, by the way, for all you out there.
Not a, what do you call it? A horse.
Not a horse, as our Darren Weeks general manager tried to persuade us that it was. I live too close to Fairfield to know that it is not a horse. And that is strike number 3. Jonathan French goes down in 4 pitches.
Yeah, French's struggles continue even longer. Our own Darren Weeks. Darren's up in Gettysburg in Pennsylvania. If you don't follow Darren, or I guess maybe new to the team, listening at home, have a kid on this team, Darren, who we had on the broadcast a few nights ago versus Katuitt. Darren is the epitome of a Civil War nerd. He knows everything. You could ask him Civil War anything. He'll tell you. It's funny. It's so many relatable things to the Civil War. First thing I ever said, not first thing I ever said, but once I got to know Darren, he's like, we were talking about Atlanta one time, and well, obviously Patriots 28-3 comes up a lot when they came back on the Falcons.
That was the first thing we talked about.
That was the first thing, yes. And but for Darren, he's like, oh yeah, when General Sherman burned down the city of Atlanta. I'm like, Darren, they're going to Civil War on me.
Well, 1-1 to Hall, and even if you follow Darren, you can tell by his Twitter he's a huge history junkie. I think he even has a podcast.
He does.
About
he does
the Civil
indeed.
War.
Darren is a great personality, even better person, and we're lucky to have him as our general manager.
He'd usually be here, but makes the trip every year up there, 1-2. I should say down
there. Yeah, it's you know what, Daniel? For my entire life, unless I'm going to the beach, I'm going up there.
That's true. I never thought about
and
that.
For you, I feel like maybe more of the time you're going down
going
somewhere.
Down, yeah. Not a huge ways to go up. I guess there is, but there's not
too much more to visit.
As a skier, yes, there
yes.
is. 2-2. Cafaro dragging out this at-bat against Anthony Hall.
Yeah, well, in Georgia, I hope you say you're going up there to ski because there's nowhere down. There's nowhere to ski down. You're in Georgia.
And Cafaro settling in, but Darren, if you're listening, maybe he's our good luck charm because we're down by 3 here at Doran Park. 2-2 is chopped into the Falmouth Commodores dugout. It stays at 2-2. The crowd has stayed for this West Division game. The Braves looking for win number 20. We've had a handful of pitchers already. 2 new faces. Well, how would you say about that, or what would you say about what we've seen so far from these new pitchers, Reeves?
Obviously, Frank Doling, not the most velocity, but a guy that throws a lot of off-speed pitches, is going to locate. Obviously, Doling wasn't helped out much by the error by Tanner Schobel. Could have been a different inning. And then here, Cafaro just had the leadoff double to Jace Borfin, got the ground out back to himself of Armstrong, and then struck out French. I like what I've seen a lot here from Bryson Cafaro. He's got decent velocity. If I had to guess, 89-90 on that fastball. And I like what I see a lot here from Cafaro here.
Well, full count, taken foul. Max Anderson snags it anyway, and Borfin will have to go back to second base. Cafaro just threw his 17th pitch of this inning. One of those was taken by Borfin to the deepest part of Doran Park, and if that was anywhere else, have to imagine it would have been a solo shot to start the career here in Bourne for Cafaro, but he has an opportunity to right the ship off a payoff pitch. Same chopper foul.
Here on the topic of the Cape League, I wanted to bring something up. There was an excellent article written by an MLB.com writer today, Michael Clare. Title of the article is Why is the Cape Cod League so special? And it kind of takes a dive into, obviously, bringing this up with 2 outs. Might have to run into next inning, and I will.
Well, that's scooped up by Christian Knapcheck and tossed over to Anderson for out number 3. Cafaro gets out of 1 after giving up a Borfin bomb to center. That bounces out of play and strands him at second. 3-0. Falmouth continues to hold the lead.
University of Louisville, number 20, Dalton Rushing.
Dalton Rushing will be the first batter faced by Chase Jeter, one of the all-stars for the Falmouth Commodores, who's going to take over for Jasiak. Finally, the Braves have a new face on the mound.
Goodness, my gosh. And got a heart of the order here against Jeter. All-star for good reason for the Commodores. 0-1. Record doesn't matter, obviously. 2.93 ERA in 6 games appeared in. He has thrown 15 1/3 innings. He has allowed just 5 runs on 10 hits, 3 walks, 15 punch-outs. Nice changeup he threw there, Daniel.
Yeah, brilliant off-speed pitch from Jeter, who is an all-star, coming from Sacred Heart. Not too far from here.
Yeah, from West Hartford, Connecticut.
He has a 1-1 count to Dalton Rushing, who has had a quiet day. He struck out in the first and flew out to right in the fourth. A lot of flyouts here for the Braves. They only have 2 hits on the game as Rushing takes one. Falmouth has 4 and have taken advantage of men on base and some wayward pitching, but 3-1, an opportunity for Dalton Rushing to provide a man on base. On deck is Braylon Wimmer. He had a double back in the 4th inning. 3-1, and Jeter can't find the zone. Only once, 4 balls, 1 strike. Dalton Rushing gets on base for the first time today.
Well, this has been the downfall of so many teams against the Braves after their starters have had excellent outings. We saw it multiple times with the Hyannis Harborhawks, Jonas Scalaro, Adrian Saravo, and then the Hyannis bullpen implodes. And here tonight, you see obviously Jack Jasiak going 6 shutout innings, just allowing 2 hits. The bullpen comes in, albeit an all-star in Chase Jeter, and a first pitch walk to Dalton Rushing. You can't give the Braves offense any reason to spark and get hits like that.
And there goes Braylon Wimmer again. Dalton Rushing will stay at second, but that was a laser past Harford at short, and Braylon Wimmer gets his second hit of the day. 1 swing, and we have a tie game here at Dorn Park.
It just takes one guy to get on base. Like I said, you cannot allow this Braves offense. If you're the Falmouth Commodores, we love it here, obviously, but if you're the opposing side, this Braves offense, obviously just thrives. Once they get one guy on, it's contagious. We've talked about it all season. And hoping for the same here in the home 7th.
Colby Thomas takes that one for ball 1. As are many Bourne Braves in this lineup, he is hitless today. He flew out to left field and struck out in the 4th. Joe Lampe on deck, but there's no outs. Bottom 7. Colby Thomas at the plate represents the tying run. A big cut. Fouled right back into the net. But as I mentioned, Colby Thomas has 2 home runs just this past week. 3, I should say, and one of those came in the most clutch of manners. Bottom 9 against this Falmouth Commodores team with 2 outs. He was the last hope for the Braves, and he tipped the scale for a 9-8 victory, walking it off with a deep bomb to left, just wrapping around the pole. 2-1, he goes ahead. He's batting .254 coming into the game with 10 RBIs. All of his production has come in the last 8 games. That one's taken above the net. Jeter finally finds the zone against Braylon Wimmer, and he takes it right back to him into shallow center field. It's a 2-2 count to the Mercer Bear. On second is Dalton Rushing leading the way. At first is Braylon Wimmer after a base knock with no outs in the bottom of the 7th, I should say, with a full crowd that has stuck around and hoping for a situation like this. Stays at 2-2.
A nice catch by Zach Agnos. Over in the dugout on that ground ball. Foul. And flips it to the bat boy.
How about Harwich coming out and really just having their way with the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox 11-1. They win after letting up 6 runs in the top of the 9th to the Braves at White House Field at their home turf.
Yeah, I really weren't happy about the way things ended, were they? Took it out on YD today.
Another foul ball.
How about the Wareham Gatemen blowing a 3-run lead to the Harbor Hawks? Now a game in the top of the 9th inning, squared away at 4.
And Orleans is also moving ahead against the Brewster Whitecaps. 5-0 that game has improved to, and we're going to see the Firebirds here on Friday.
Yeah, and then Chatham over Cotuit at 11-3.
The last time we saw the Firebirds, it was a 2-2 tie at Eldridge Park. Breaking ball in the dirt for strike 3. Colby Thomas down swinging for the second time today. Joe Lampy looking to redeem himself after an 0-2 start at the plate. 2 men on and only 1 out, so still a lot of opportunities left in the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, still a lot of chances left for this Braves team to really come through and get some of these runs back. Obviously trailing by 3, but it doesn't need to be one big inning that you get all the runs back. Just chip away. Maybe 1 or 2 here, get 1 in the 8th, and then maybe you set yourself up in a tie game in the 9th with another chance to walk it off. Who knows?
First pitch high, and Harwich ended up with the 11-1 victory over the YD Red Sox, and of course that one at Red Wilson Field, no lights there. It was ended after 7. Luckily, we got all 9 innings in when we made our trip to Red Wilson last Friday.
Yeah, we sure did. How many innings did you say that went? 7?
7.
My goodness. Yeah, tough when it's cloudier, obviously. It gets darker.
2 straight balls from Jeter. He's struggling now with his accuracy, to the Braves' delight. Joe coming in today, 21 for 76 on the season with 6 RBIs. He's hitless, though. Tanner Schobel on deck. Two-0 swinging, and that's going to be the first strike of the at-bat. Goes right down into the feet of French. Surprised we have not seen the bunt from either Colby Thomas or Joe Lampy. Harvey Shapiro, he's an old school coach, especially with Joe Lampy at the plate now. He's an old school coach who likes to take advantage of the speed that his players have, and Joe Lampy for sure has the speed, especially with 2 men on. I'm surprised we haven't seen an attempt to move both of them over, as that swing provides a 2-2 count.
Well, I think with Colby, he knows that Colby can tie the game with 1 swing of the bat. And obviously you're down by 3 runs, so he wanted to give Colby that opportunity. And then with 1 down, it doesn't do much for the Braves to have runners on second and third with 2 down. So I think you got to let Joe swing away with 1 out. Now, if Joe's up at the plate, first and second, nobody out, I think Joe's getting the bunt down. But with Colby, he's just such a game changer with his stroke of power that he has at the plate. He could really turn this game on its head with 1 swing of the bat. His first trip of the inning, obviously from the home plate umpire.
Two-two. Joe Lampy with only 1 out. He continues to stay alive here. Full count now. There goes rushing French. Gonna gun it down to Braylon Wimmer. He's safe there. Both men improve from their original spots. Now 2 base runners in scoring position.
Yeah, just a wild pitch, and then French couldn't go corral it. He had a chance to throw out the runner on the back end, and Braylon Wimmer. Wimmer was going to be safe. Ball ricocheted up there, but good job backing that up there by Curiali.
So with a full count now and 2 men in scoring position, Joe Lampy's at-bat just amplified in significance.
And if he somehow was able to get on board via free pass, talk about deja vu for Tanner Schobel with a bases loaded situation for the second consecutive night. If Lampy can walk.
And the last time that we saw him was in the top of the 6th with a bases loaded situation, and he scored 3. Of course, that was a single counted, but he made it 2/3 off of an error and a throw to home.
Yeah, top of the 9th, yeah.
Top of the 9th,
yeah,
I should say,
yeah.
yes. Full count for Lampy. Jeter's thrown 10 strikes and 9 balls. Has struggled finding the zone. And with a dangerous Tanner Schobel in the on-deck circle. The breaking ball is going to be a bases-loaded situation with Tanner Schobel. With the last time that he saw this situation, he slapped one into left center and scored 3 in the top of the 9th yesterday at White House Field, and that blew up the top of the 9th. Tanner Schobel is also used to going long. We saw that at Brewster.
And then again at YD.
And then at YD.
Oh, baby. This game all of a sudden just got real interesting.
Oh, taken to center field. Is that going to do it? Just at the warning track, scoring is Dalton Rushing with the tag with a sacrifice RBI single, or RBI sac fly from Tanner Schobel in one of the deepest parts of Doran Park. That is the first run for the Braves today, 3-1.
I thought for a minute he might have gotten all of it, and then I realized that center field plays a lot deeper than it may seem. Realized that was going to stay in the park, and Hodo made the catch. But hey, the Braves are on the board. Like I said, as great as it would be for one swing of the bat to change this game and give the Braves the lead, they just need to chip away. Because now that Jayziak's out of the game, the Braves can, as they so often have done this year, get to the bullpen of these opposing staffs. You get one here, and even if you don't get another this inning, you got 2 more opportunities to hit.
There he goes, and did they get him? They did! Braylon Wimmer stealing there. And that's going to do it. Stranding 2 men on, and Zach Agnos does not get an opportunity to take to the batter's box. But we get our first 3-1 here at Doran Park. The Falmouth Commodores lead by 2. We're getting our first look at Garcia from Grambling State, who has now taken duties behind the plate from Dalton Rushing.
Yeah, Rushing has moved to first base, over there third at Anderson, and Goodwin's been removed from this game.
Garcia is known primarily for his outstanding defense as one of the best defensive catchers in the entire nation at Grambling, transferring to Grambling. 1-1. This is Michael Curiali. 3-1. The Commodores hold their lead after catching Braylon Wimmer stealing third. Two and one now, and we're getting our second look. Here in the top of the eighth at the Fairfield Stag on the mound. 2-1. Fly ball into shallow right. Going over is Knapczyk, and he snags that one from Thomas for the first out of the top of the eighth.
Yeah, John Garcia now behind the plate from Manhattan, New York, a sophomore. It will be a sophomore. I should say, sorry, should be a junior. Excuse me. Sometimes the player charts are hard to read. You know, when they're in that in-between year, it's like, wait, were they a sophomore? Are they going to be a sophomore? He's going to be a junior at Grambling State. It is John Garcia. As you mentioned, one of the best defensive catchers from what our scout Theo Bartolomeo told us.
First pitch from Cafaro. Oh, 1. Curiali is 0 for 3 on the day, and he has a half-hearted swing there. Puts him behind 0-2. A great-looking breaking ball from Cafaro. Oh, 2. Time called. The Braves have only posted 3 hits. Swing and foul. That is opposed to the 15 hits they put up 2 days ago against the Falmouth Commodores. With only 2 more opportunities at the plate. And there goes Curiali with a base hit, the first base runner on for the Commodores this inning. Curiali improving on the day. That's actually DeFabia. And how about that? That's a second hit.
Yeah,
He has been one of the best batters for the team tonight, which is crazy considering he came in relief 2 nights ago.
My gosh, I mean, how about DeFabia just roping that one up the middle for a base hit? And continuing his hot hitting, including a sacrifice bunt. DeFabia 2 for 3 today.
And a swing and a miss from Cody Colden.
Yeah, Cody Colden obviously launched that home run to left. That was in his last plate appearance and was no cheapie either. Cleared the Braves bullpen out toward those batting cages.
Top of the 8th.
That was off of Frank Doling.
Ooh, a good-looking pitch, just misses low. Talk about movement. Even from here, you could see how much that dropped into the zone and maybe just a bit too far low, according to our home plate umpire. A quiet night here. It seems like everyone's just waiting for these Braves to string together a rally. 1-2 now to Cafaro. One and two. He's thrown 30 pitches. This is the second inning we have seen him. Swing and a miss for out number 2. Cafaro battles back after giving up the second hit to DeFabia. The third baseman.
The center fielder from the University of Texas, number 17, Douglas Hodo.
Douglas Hodo now at the plate with 2 outs in the top of the 8th. Only 5 hits for the Falmouth Commodores on the day. Douglas Hodo has gotten on base twice, both of them walks though. And a good-looking breaking ball for strike 1.
Yeah, nice job here by Cafaro here. Obviously got Curiali and got Colden.
A second breaking ball and a second strike. At first is DeFabia. The Chatham Anglers have extended their lead 12-3. Orleans stays at 5-0. Taken foul.
The Bugs have taken over us up here, Daniel.
Jeez. Haven't seen it this buggy in a while. 0-2. Stays at 0-2. This is Hodo's 5th appearance on the night. Oh, 2 and an opportunity to get out of the top of the 8th. First ball to Hodo, high and outside. Hodo seen defensively in center field. He's had a busy night. A couple of pokes out there by the Braves and a couple of fly balls for him that have secured outs for the Falmouth Commodores. A 1-2 count with DeFabia at first. Just missing outside. 2-2. Two from the stretch. The delivery. Garcia loses grasp of it, but DeFabia does not take advantage.
Yeah, maybe DeFabio knows how good of a defensive catcher. They called Garcia one of the best catch-and-throw catchers. As you're going to see DeFabio off with the pitch here.
From Manhattan. You don't see that often, Reeves.
No, you do not. Right from the city.
The delivery. There goes DeFabia. And there goes Hodo for the 3rd time to first base off of a walk from a Bourne Brave pitcher.
Now batting, the shortstop from the University of Tennessee Martin, number 24, Casey Harford.
Casey Harford will take over. Men on first and second, 2 outs. Cafaro has thrown 39 pitches. This will be his 40th. Swing and a miss. Garcia keeps a hold on it. 0-1 on a clear, crisp night. There was rain in the forecast earlier on. It missed us to the south. Luckily, and thank the Lord, we have not seen rain again. It has been one of the rainiest Julys in all of Massachusetts history.
Crazy. Thought Georgia was rainy this summer.
History. Does it rain much in Georgia?
Well, this summer it has. Last summer it was beautiful. One of the best summers. It was like the perfect amount last summer of, perfect sunny days. Family's got a boat on the lake, which is super nice. So it was the perfect amount between perfect sunny days and then, when you kind of need a rainy day every once in a while.
Oh, yeah.
You need to stay inside, watch Netflix,
I love a rainy
watch
day
movies.
every once in a while.
But not like what we've had this summer in both the south and the north.
1-2 now. The occasional rainy day is always very nice. I usually like it stormy if it's going to be rainy.
Yeah, what's your
everything.
What's your go-to rainy day activity? Just is
I'm
it
a movie guy.
Movie over show?
I know you haven't seen the Harry Potter series, which is crazy to me.
I couldn't get on. I don't know. It's not my type.
Yeah, I mean, I binged all of those. I think it was a rainy day scenario when that happened. And that's strike number 3. Finally, Cafaro gets out of the top of the 8th. 2 more opportunities for the Braves to get some runs across the board. 3-1. The Road Warrior Falmouth Commodores are on top, and the Braves need to respond soon.
14, Zach Agnos.
Zach Agnos to the plate. The second to last opportunity for the Braves to get some runs across the plate. Bottom of the eighth, 3-1. The Commodores have taken the lead early. The Braves have responded, though, in the last inning. The 0-1 taken back into the net. Agnos 0 for 2. His last appearance, he flew out to left field over by Hall. The delivery 0-2. Breaking ball just misses high and outside. And for Zach Agnos, this is an opportunity in the game where you need some offensive production, or else we might be heading away with a loss in our third of the season. Check swing, and that's going to catch the zone either way. A strikeout and out number one in the bottom of the eighth.
Yeah, Chase Jeter back on here in the bottom of the eighth, and
Now batting, the catcher from Grambling State
looking
University,
sharp
number 26,
here to start the
John
inning. But here we
Garcia.
get our first look at John Garcia at the plate.
Yeah, here we go. John Garcia, the first at-bat of his Bourne Braves tenure. In the first game that we're seeing him, we saw him the last inning at the catching position as he takes a first pitch ball on the outside. The 1-0, high fly ball in shallow right. Taken over by the second baseman Curiali for out number two. A lackluster first at-bat for Garcia. But Christian Knapczyk steps to the plate for his fourth at-bat of the game. He's 1 for 3 in those 3 appearances. Flare foul out of reach of the third baseman Colden. So strike number 1, and seems like Jeter has found his groove here in the bottom of the eighth. A quiet night in the crowd here at Doran Park, and what has also been a quiet night at the plate for the Braves.
Yeah, and if nothing else, even if Jeter does get Knapp here, Braves would have 2, 3, and 4 heading into the last frame.
That one slapped foul and out of play, out of reach of Anthony Hall in left field. 0-2 with 2 outs. An opportunity for Jeter to get out of an inning incredibly quickly, far quicker than the last inning. The delivery, low and outside. First ball to Christian Knapczyk. The leader in average and the one spot hitter for Harvey Shapiro's squad. 1 and 2 battled off the opposite way, foul again. There go the kids scurrying after it. Our next time at Doran Park will be this Friday after an off day tomorrow. And what is our first Friday night game?
Yeah, we're excited about that. Cannot wait. Beautiful night, packed crowd, Orleans, red unis, camo hats, and a Braves W sounds nice to me.
2 and 2. French bounces that one off his left shoulder. And Knapczyk doing what he does best, stretching out plate appearances. He's 1 for 3 on the day, and that came in the first at-bat of the game, where he beat out a ground ball to Hartford at short.
Hey, how about Hyannis? They just walked off the Wareham Gateman and picked up the win. Wow. Bottom of the ninth. We've been used to walk-offs ourselves.
In a tie second spot now between Catuit and Wareham. These two teams battling for the second place, as well as Falmouth here.
I feel like no one wants to take control of that 2 spot, but Falmouth sure looks like they want to tonight.
fouled off again. 2-2 it remains for the Louisville Cardinal. Jeter on the mound for the second inning. In the bottom of the eighth, 2 outs. This will be his 34th pitch. 2-2, right back to Jeter. He snags it and underhands it over to Armstrong for out number 3. An impressive stab from Jeter ends the 8th inning. We're going to the top of the 9th. It's crunch time for the Braves as they look to get away here with a victory. We have reached the 9th inning at Doran Park in a rematch against the Falmouth Commodores, who we walked off 2 nights ago, and we could see an opportunity for a second time to walk them off here. But Xavier Lovett has taken over in the top of the 9th. The Mississippi State turned Texas A&M Aggie now, and Reeves is going to take you through the entire 9th inning.
Thank you, Mr. Coates. Xavier Lovett back on after starting off the year on a very, very hot start. He starts Bourne off with strike 1, the hot Arkansas Razorback in this Falmouth lineup. Some struggles a bit recently for Xavier. On July 14th, 6 hits and 3 runs against Hyannis, and faced this Falmouth team in the 9-8 win Monday. 2 hits and 2 runs, in which and Falmouth just kept putting runs up. Bouncer to first, Rushing keeps it in front of him off his chest and takes it 3 unassisted.
Rushing taking some skills behind the plate today over to first base. He keeps that ground ball in front of him with the chest. A good job and a tough kid over there at first and at the catching position. That's what you need.
Yeah, it sure is. Just keep it in front of you. Here's Chris Armstrong. He is 0 for 2 today, 2 walks. Takes that one high. So the battery combination of Garcia and Lovett. Swing and a miss of Armstrong. When the Braves are back up to the plate in the bottom of the 9th, they'll have the right guys, that's for sure. They'll have Anderson, Rushing, and Wimmer. And if any of those guys can reach, obviously followed by Colby Thomas, Joe Lampe, Tanner Schobel.
And all have the ability to go yard.
They sure do. That one misses downstairs. From the man they call X. Xavier, a 6.75 ERA, but those 5 earned runs that he's allowed in the year have come in 2 of his past 3 outings. This one chopped foul. And the off day presents us with a chance to rest the arms and for all the players just to get a day off. For the Wareham Gatemen, I know we experienced this early in the year, Daniel, and kind of thank goodness for us, but they, starting tomorrow, will be done playing a stretch of 8 consecutive games, in which obviously we had our Tuesday off day early in the year and then had to play the games after that. So
very early in the year, and then we had those 8 that really got things going and started our win streak.
2-2, that misses a fastball. High and away, full count, 3-2.
This would be the 9th win if they hold on here, and sending them right into a position for second after 2 losses.
That one sprayed down the left field line. That just foul. And thank goodness, had ground rule double written all over it for Armstrong.
Boy, that was roped down the left field line. To the delight of Wimmer, it continued to leak foul, as well as Xavier Lovett. He has a payoff pitch coming against Christopher Armstrong, who's gotten on base twice, both by the walk, though.
Yeah, Lovett has amassed 6 2/3 innings this season. 2 walks, 9 hits, and 6 strikeouts. If you're ready, payoff. That is a breaking ball that misses high. And Armstrong aboard for the 3rd time today, as you mentioned, all via free passes. That'll bring up French. And boy, have the Braves had his number.
Number 26, Jonathan French.
French 0 for 9 in the past 2 games against this Braves squad. There's what sounds like fireworks off in the distance. Fastball high.
After 2 losses by West Division teams, the Wareham Gatemen tonight and the Katuitt Kettleers, Falmouth right back into the race. This is a huge game for them. They're 4 points behind the Kettleers now.
Yeah, obviously, the Braves on an 8-game winning streak. Falmouth has lost 5 consecutive. They're 3-7 in their last 10 compared to the Bourne Braves, and 9-1 in their past 10 games. But the Braves have really just taken advantage on their lead in this stretch, in which every team in their past 10 is below 500. The Gatemen 3-7 in their last 10. Katuitt 4-6 in their last 10. Falmouth 3-7 in their last 10. Hyannis now 3-7 in their last 10 after picking up their 3rd win in 4 games. So in a team in which Hyannis, we had the argument and the question of, do they even win 5 games? Well, they just won their 5th tonight, so playing a lot better baseball, and honestly might have been sparked by the level of play they had against this Braves team. It was just a matter of time before they broke through in the win column a few times, and they sure have recently, and it started with the Commodores.
That 3-game stretch, you saw really good things from them. Of course, you look at their record and kind of brush them off, but they have some real hitters, some good pitchers that we saw, and we even had to turn to the late-night heroics of Caden Wallace in order to get away with a win in the 3rd game that we saw them in the 1st game in that stretch that they came home.
2-2, a slider rings up Jonathan French, and my, oh my, French has the slow and painful walk back to the dugout, his 3rd consecutive strikeout. This one via the looking variety.
Number 35.
Yeah,
Anthony
I think right here against Hall from Oregon, you need to come away from this half inning with some momentum. If Xavier Lovett is able to get him down on strikes, that could spark the bats to get going in the bottom of the 9th, and he starts off right there with a breaking ball that hits the zone.
Someone who doesn't like Bourne pitching a lot this year, well, that'd be the Clemson catcher Jonathan French. Now 0 for 14 against Bourne Braves pitchers this year. 0 for 4 in his 1st game. 0 for 5 last night, 0 for 5 today. This one's laced to the right center field gap. This could score another Falmouth run. It's going to hit off the top of the wall. That'll easily bring home the 4th Commodore today, as in comes Chris Armstrong, a clutch 2-out double from Anthony Hall, and the Commodores have gotten that run right back.
Making a comeback even that much harder. Xavier Love. That was absolutely roped, as you were telling us that he was 0 for 14.
Well, that was French.
French.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
French, but I mean, how about that? That is exactly what you do not need. 2 outs, so close to getting back to the dugout and off defensively for the final time tonight. And just a frozen rope from Anthony Hall.
So Hall with the RBI double, and Daniel, that's a tough blow to a team that was, obviously going to try to come back in the ninth. Obviously still possible, but that one run makes it extra hard.
Yeah, most certainly. I mean, 2 as opposed to 3 is quite a difference, and I think tonight, there's something that's not in the air. It seems like a deflated crowd, and the Braves just haven't been swinging the bats. But if there's anything that we know, is that one of our most effective and one of our most successful innings is the ninth, and it seems like we almost come into a new form and a new game when it comes down to it. And the bottom of the ninth could prove that again.
0-2. Slider just misses low. There to Michael Curiali. Falmouth looking to take their first game of the season against a Bourne team that has had their number 4-0 against the Commodores. 2 wins at Gov Fuller, 2 wins at Doran Park. The Braves play their final regular season game against Falmouth. That's the next time we'll see them. Bouncer up the middle, to his left goes Schobel, and the throw over to Rushing retires the Commodores in the top of the ninth. But an RBI double from Anthony Hall. Commodores tack on another. Braves will have a chance to tie it up or win it as we head to the bottom of the ninth.
From the University of Nebraska, number 31, Max.
Well, can the Braves play hero ball again? We'll find out here in the bottom of the ninth, but they got a 3-run deficit to overcome if they want to. That's even if they just want to tie this game. It'll be Anderson, Rushing, Wimmer. 2, 3, and 4 against all-star lefty Chase Jeter. Anderson swings and misses. Beautiful changeup, and this is a Falmouth pitching staff that has really come to pitch tonight against the Braves offense.
Yeah, they've only allowed 3 hits.
And Anderson goes down on 3 pitches. French misses the tag, but tosses it over to Armstrong for a 3-pitch strikeout of Anderson. The energy just hasn't really been there tonight.
No, and it's all really started with Jazak. At the beginning of this game, he set the tone, and Jeter, other than the first inning where we scored 1 run off of him, it's been the pitching performance for the Falmouth Commodores that have gotten it done today.
Yeah, Jack Jasiak was incredible. 6 shutout innings. Braves got a run off of Jeter. But in his last 2 innings, he's been shut down as Rushing takes a slider. Outer half, strike 1. Someone just shouted, "I love cats." Very interesting here in the crowd. Nothing in one. That misses high. Oh, my goodness. It's too late for me. 9:20. It's not even my bedtime.
Oh, man. Good crowd.
Great crowd. 1-1. Rushing takes that low. So the Braves on the verge of moving to 19-3-3. But luckily for us, Daniel, Wareham lost. Cotuit lost. Falmouth would pick up a big win tonight. They would move to 9-13-2. And they would gain a critical 2 points on the Kettleers and the Gatemen. That battle for second place in the division. The Braves, although they haven't done it yet, it might be just a formality that when they do lock up the 1 seed, because it's going to be tough to catch the Braves in the remaining 12 games as Rushing stays alive.
Yeah, and you look up and down this order today, usually you see guys who have had 3-hit games, 2-hit games even. Guys tonight just haven't been able to string it together. And I thought we were going to see another big offensive night when Christian Knapczyk got on base and stole second in the first inning. He was the first batter to do so, and the first batter seen here at Doran Park. But after that, nothing really up until here.
Yeah, Dalton Rushing maybe getting something going with a ground ball base hit off the pitcher's mound and up through the middle. It's a 1-out single. We'll see if the Braves have something cooking after that. Braves' 4th hit of the evening as a guy that has 2 of them into the box. Wimmer enjoying a nice 2-for-3 night, had a double to left and a single into center. That was back when the Braves scored their first run and really had an opportunity to break through in that home 7th. Schobel, a sac fly with the bases loaded. Wimmer squares to bunt. He's hit by a pitch. Oh, they're saying it hit the barrel. Well, now they're going to send him on down to first. Maybe he said hit the hand. I thought he said hit the barrel. I think Braylon thought he said the same thing.
Well, hey, look who's up now.
And now, Colby Thomas has a chance with 1 swing to tie this game up here in the bottom of the 9th. It's funny how history has a way of repeating itself. Can Colby Thomas be up for the challenge once again? Well, he's got us to our feet. And he's got some fans to their feet as well.
I mean, he's the guy to do it. Joe Lampe, no offense, but he just hasn't poked one out of the park at any point this season. He's more of a base hit guy. Colby Thomas calling time off of Jeter. And Thomas on the day has struck out the last 2 times you saw him. He flew out to left in the 2nd inning.
Rushing at second, Wimmer at first. Braves trailing by 3 in the home 9th. With Jeter, the lefty on the mound against Colby Thomas. First pitch. Swing, chopper, right back to Jeter. Goes the easy way over to first. Colby Thomas disappointed with that at-bat. He chops out to the pitcher Jeter, and the Braves do advance the runners to second and third. But now it'll be Joe Lampe who represents the final hope for the Braves tonight. Down by 3 with runners on second and third. The Braves could still change this game with 1 swing of the bat, and oh, what a time it would be for Joe Lampe's first home run of the season. Lefty-lefty matchup. And even at the bag at third is Cody Colden, although I can assuredly tell you Joe Lampe's not going to try to bunt here. Swing and a miss, a fastball. And Joe pulled out a little bit. As a player, you obviously dream big about these situations and these scenarios. You play wiffle ball in the backyard, bottom of the 9th, you trail by runs, and got to get the runners home and do it via the long ball. It's tough to go out of the park to right field here. I haven't seen many people do it. As Lampe stays patient and takes a ball there. 1-1. Outfield shading Lampe to the opposite field, and Hall and Hodo, and way off the line is Borfin and right. And if Lampe hits one to right, he could run for days. 1-1. Lampe shoots this one left side. That's going to be a diving stop there by Harford. That's going to bring Rushing home. Wimmer advances to third, and Joe Lampe with an RBI single. The tying run is aboard and the fastest guy on the team. And now, the hero last night could have the opportunity to do the same. It's Tanner Schobel.
And Tanner, just a few innings ago, had an absolute bomb to center field in one of the deepest parts of Doran Park. It came up just shy of the fence. Can he find that barrel of the bat again in a different part of the park? Because if he does it again somewhere else, it's going to be out of here. And he represents the game-winning run, the man in the batter's box in the Virginia Tech Hokie.
Schobel up first and third, and first to check on Lampe. Well, if Schobel's able to somehow put one into the gap, you know that Harvey Shapiro is going to have the windmill for Joe Lampe. Regardless, Schobel shoots one into right field, but there is Jace Borfin. He's under it. He makes the catch, and the Falmouth Commodores steal one here at Doran Park and take one from Bourne by a final score of 4-2. As the Braves bat just unable to get it going all night, as joined by Reeves Jackson and Daniel Coates back up here in the broadcast booth. Daniel, the Braves, as they did last night, they waited to get the bats going until the late innings, but it was too little too late tonight as the Commodores took advantage.
Yeah, it looked like when the Braves realized they had to get the bat on the ball, it was just too late, and you put it all on the shoulders of Tanner Schobel. You know, he's a great player. It's just you got to give yourself more opportunities as well through the lineup, and it just wasn't the night. You kind of felt it the entire time, and Jay-Zach for the Commodores came out and pitched one heck of a game, followed by Jeter, and you got to tip your cap to the Commodores, who, as I was saying, I wouldn't have been surprised if the Hyannis Harbor Hawks got a game on us in that three-game stretch, because you come to know a team, you come to know a lineup, and we haven't had a stretch like this where we played teams that consistently, but we saw the Commodores 2 nights ago, and it seemed like they knew the pitchers to go up against us, and they got it done here tonight, 4-2.
Well, it's hard to beat a team twice consecutively, much alone 4 times in a row. But the Braves did that against Falmouth. They dropped their first one of the season. Now 4-1 against a Falmouth team that they won't see until August 4th. That is the final game of the season from Gov Fuller Field, where the Braves will take on the Commodores next. And tonight, obviously, Jack Jasiak, he silenced the Braves' bats. He turned it to the All-Star Chase Jeter, who in 3 solid innings just gave up 1 run on the Schobel sac fly, and he escaped trouble big time in that 7th inning. And then offensively for the Braves tonight, just only 5 hits. They weren't able to get it going. 2 of those hits came late. Hits 4 and 5 came by Rushing and Lampe. In that late in the game, the Braves started Eknes on the mound. He went 4 shutout. Frank Doling from Ryder gave up a home run to Cody Colden. Also wasn't helped out by an error from Tanner Schobel. And then obviously Bryson Cafaro in his first appearance. So we saw Eknes make his first start, and we saw 2 new faces. What'd you make of the Braves pitching performance today?
You know, I thought Eknes was good. He showed his grit. He showed his ability to get out of jams. No runs allowed, so you can't really knock the guy. It wasn't perfect, but he was able to post a 0 score for the Commodores. And coming in, 2 new guys who I think just looked like they needed to kind of get their footing in the Cape League, maybe a bit too soon. And you could kind of tell, as well as the addition of Garcia behind the plate at the catching position, that Harvey Shapiro was trying a couple of new things here today. Goodwin at third, so it wasn't necessarily the ideal setup that we were going with, or the, you're going to lock in this win. As Harvey Shapiro, when you have 19 wins, you kind of want to mix it up, see what you got, especially moving towards the playoffs. But you want to get these guys the reps, and it's good that we got this. It almost feels like this was the game that was bound to come after the games of holding on to wins against the Commodores 2 nights ago and against the Harwich Mariners last night, posting 6 in the top of the 9. So it just seems like the game that was supposed to come and almost humble us a little. And in a way, I hope we use this 3rd loss to propel us into another win streak in the coming week. And I think the off day comes at a prime time.
Well, the Braves make it interesting late once again, but this time fall to the Commodores by a final score of 4-2. The Braves are off tomorrow before back at home Friday, and a big date for the first Friday night home game against the Orleans Firebirds. For Daniel Coates and Megan Heyer and our entire production team, my name is Reeves Jackson, signing off here from Doran Park, wishing you a happy and healthy off day, and we'll see you right back here at the ballpark on Friday night.